welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to PiGosaur Cup. Welcome back to PiGosaur Cup number 62, your weekly dose of all things StarCraft, weekly dose of open StarCraft. I'm of course your host, Live VIP, and everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy God, Merry Christmas is here. I mean, we're almost done with Christmas, working towards Boxing Day, but I hope you all had a great week, a great holidays, and wish you the best of a new year as well. True. New year also right around the corner. Take care, everyone, as the show will go on. As we do have some casting to do. Over the past couple of days, we have been otherwise preoccupied. We had 2 days off. We had the 23rd and 24th off, but now coming into the 25th, we are back. We are here. We are back when it comes to casting. Oh boy, and there's quite a lot to catch up on. For those that are curious, PiGosaur Cup, this did take place last week. This is a replay cast to catch up on actually the final PiGosaur Cup of 2025. The final one before a long hiatus. And fun fact, I don't know if you noticed, but also with some new logos, with some very new logos here. You can see just under my just under our camera here, we do have a very cute Stegosaur slash PiGosaur or pig combo PiGosaur, if you will. A new logo, new mascot has been made, I should say, for the tournament. It took a long time for it to be made. For a very long time we're just using the Stegosaurus Cup logo, basically, so it took almost a full year, but now we do have a new logo. Of course, now we are entering the kind of finale of 2025 before getting into a brand new year of StarCraft. Oh boy. So again, almost die. But once again, PiGosaur Cup is going to be going on a very long hiatus, at least until January. Like I believe a number of events are. We are also going to be going on. Actually, never mind. I was going to say we're going to be missing a week. We are going to be skipping the week of the 4th of January. But this weekend we will still be having the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Of course, because of our December monthly finals. True. So we still have our December monthly finals. And from my understanding, I believe the Wardy TV Open Cups are still going to be running as well. I'm not entirely certain as to the Monday night weeklies, but again, some tournaments may be going on a bit of a hiatus coming into the New Year's. Others will be maintaining themselves and just continuing to run regardless. So keep an eye out on the TL calendar and keep an eye out on any announcements on any future events. Otherwise, bienvenidos, everyone. Bienvenidos. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Just catching up with the chat. Shout out to Warehug in the chat. Thank you so much for subscribing for 15 months on a 13th month win streak. Thank you so much, baby. Thank you so much. Ay. Gracias, baby, gracias. Do appreciate the support. Likewise, shout out to Psychons in the chat as well. I see Apple, I see Ryan, and many others. Bienvenidos, as we have our first series of the broadcast. As you can see here, Scarlett versus Percival. Now, if you're curious, this broadcast did occur last week. We were unavailable at the time. I remember I was just completely destroyed by RSL. Like, RSL last weekend was brutal, was very intense, and I was just so drained from Revival StarCraft League, from the offline finals. So as a result, did decide to take the 17th off, which was when PiGosaur Cup was taking place. And now here we are a week later to catch up on those matches, to catch up on those replays. And apparently Scarlett made her return. Again, Scarlett is very inactive and very inconsistent with when she plays. She took a massive break post EWC and recently returned leading up to the LAN event happening in Canada, leading into the Stellarfest, if you recall. So there was a LAN event in Canada. If you remember, there was also meant to be a Scarlett show match that was meant to be taking place on the Chinese server. It was meant to be a celebration of the Chinese server returning, but that didn't quite pan out. The celebration has been postponed and rescheduled to January of 2026. So the Scarlett show match was rescheduled, but she still was returning to StarCraft in preparation for it and in preparation for the LAN events as well. And as a result, we have seen a little bit more Scarlett, whether it's in PiGosaur Cup, whether it's in Wardy TV Mondays, in Open Cups in general. We have been seeing a little bit more Scarlett as of late. Great to see, and she's been looking very in form as well. True. She's been looking very in form. Very surprising to see the rapid growth of Scarlett when it comes to recovering and regaining a lot of her skill. And we'll see how she compares to Percival, who has been on the grind the entire time, on, and he's pretty hot right now. Like Percival, he has been getting better and better results. We covered him at taking down Beyond not too long ago, taking down Classic, some big Protoss players as well. Like Percival, I would say that he's been looking very strong in the other matchups. I would say that this matchup is maybe his weakest matchup, TVZ, but he can still be a very terrifying opponent, and I'm really excited to see how Scarlett approaches this matchup in the new map pool and in the new meta as well. Game 1 is going to be on Tourmaline. Let's go. Let us go as we jump into our fresh series. Game 1 is going to be on Tourmaline, a very aggressive map, a smaller map of the map pool. Let's go. Let us jump on in. As spawning in the right-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the Canadian Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player, the South Korean Terran. It is Percival. Here we go. Here we go as we're getting into our fresh series. So we're getting into our ZVT. And again, ZVT is a matchup that has been shifting and changing quite a bit over the past couple of weeks and couple of months. Well, hello. As we have been seeing a shift back into Lingbane Muta. We've been seeing a lot more Lingbane Muta, and that would put that to the forefront here of our minds if we were loading into a larger map. If we were loading into White Rabbits or Celestial Enclave or even Winter Madness, then I would be thinking about Muta play. But here on a smaller map like Tourmaline, it is risky to play Mutas, and there's a higher chance we play more Lingbane heavy or even Roach heavy, as Percival opens up 2x. Ooh, 2x Reaper at a Percival, a very aggressive, very assertive start. Remember, this is not an all-in, this is a macro build, but it is a build designed to keep the Zerg player in check and keep them on a low base count. The goal here should be to delay the third base, contain the Zerg player. The goal should not really be to kill any workers. Oh, as Scarlett is going at Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener. But it shouldn't really be to kill workers or kill queens. If you can get worker kills, that would be perfect. That would be ideal. But the reality is that there should be a back and forth micro battle between the two players, and Scarlett should be able to maintain and retain her worker count and just be contained on 2 bases. At least that's what Percival was hoping for the bare minimum amount of damage. As Reapers are going to be rallying across, the overload will soon confirm. With this, Scarlett should stay in gas until we get into link speed. Typically, you'd pull out of gas a little bit earlier to be a little bit more efficient. Link speed isn't as crucial in the early game, but if you scout 2x Reaper, as Scarlett is doing, then link speed suddenly has more value. I say that, Scarlett still pulls out. Never mind. Okay, so still does pull out. I mean, we're going to be playing on 2 bases. This does mean that we're going to be contained here on with our queens, with our links. From here, Percival just expanding. Scarlett confirms there's a CC on the way. Reaper does arrive. The dance has begun. So poking in. And pokes in. Link's getting low. So far, nice control of the Scarlett. Doesn't lose any lings. Second Reaper has arrived. The Queen is going to be able to hold its own, and so far no losses. The Queen is getting low, but now the second Queen can come down from the high ground, and Scarlett will zone away those Reapers. More importantly, the third base has been thrown down. We spoke about this, but this third base, it should not be on the way here, so this is a big win for Scarlett, and Percival is done making Reapers. Add-ons are on the way, only 3 Reapers, not going up to 5, which means Scarlett gets away with the third. Oof. So raw position for Percival. Meanwhile, Percival wants a Queen. Up, he gets it. Oh my god. Okay, Queen goes down for the cost of a Reaper. That is a better trade for Percival. Not bad. Forcing out a Spore. Picked up a couple of Zerglings. And will pull out. Oh, eventually. It's going to be zoned away. So we have a bit of a give and take here. Earlier, I did mention that ideally you do want to be able to contain the Zerg player. Scarlett did sneak out a drone and did sneak out a third base, and by the time that Percival realized what was going on, Percival, he already had add-ons on the way. We were already done with Reaper production. Otherwise, typically you'd make a 4th and 5th Reaper to commit and to force a cancellation, but alas, that wasn't the case here, and in the end Scarlett was able to maintain herself, get that third base. At least Percival did kill a Queen, so there was some value gotten here from Percival, but I would say this has been a lackluster start for the Terran player. Following this up, at 3rd CC, we have a 3cc 2-on-1, 3cc 2-on-1 here at a Percival. I'm going for a later stim timing and going for an earlier third base, so we're building up into the mid game. Meanwhile, Scarlett is opting to just build up and play standard. There's no early tech, there's no early aggression here, we're just droning. So from here, the game is slowing down. Again, when it comes to the stim timing, this typically hits at around 5:30, just because the third CC was prioritized, so it's going to be a later stim timing. Oh, actually, cheeky move here. It's going to be a 362-on-1 with Cloak Banshee. This is very unexpected. Going for a bit of a Byun move here. I say Byun move. This was popularized by Byun and by Maru. Byun and Maru, they're both good friends. They both do, at times, adapt and morph the meta around themselves. And this was a variation that they did popularize, I think it was 2 years ago at this point. 2 years ago. Now, basically, what does this entail? When you go for a 2-on-1, which has been scouted, typically, you want to be prioritizing with the Terran player to be efficient, prioritizes medevac production, right? It just makes sense. Was another queen gets picked up, not bad. But typically you expect to see medevacs, which means Scarlett should be skipping spores, right? There are no spores. Why are there no spores? Because the starport should be making medevacs, not banshees. This is inefficient. Technically, this is inefficient, which is why it catches Zerg players off guard. And this is where both Maru and Byun did have success with it as a way to blindside Zerg players and use the meta against them. So the Reapers do move out. Sorry, the Banshees do move out. Scarlett trying to keep up. And we'll go into the Hellions, not bad. Here comes it for the surround. That Hellions, they get caught on creep. Massive catch here for Scarlett. At the same time, drones were picked up, getting 3 drone kills so far. And thankfully, Scarlett is playing safe. We have 3 spores finishing up in the bases. Scarlett is ready for any kind of Banshee harass. So far, so good. And again, Scarlett didn't scout the follow-up here, so it was not fully aware of what was going on. But this isn't 2 years ago, so Scarlett is aware that there's a threat of potentially Banshee play, and she blindly plays it safe. And now confirms. Yeah, now confirms the Banshees. Behind this, getting into roaches. Interesting. So roach-based play is something that was on the table here, if you recall. Because the map is so small, there's a higher chance to get into roaches. But I still wasn't really expecting it. We haven't seen as much roach play in the recent meta, in recent times. But again, like, this is going to be strengthened just because of the size of the map and just because of how open the map is. There is going to be a roach timing available here for Scarlett, and it's going to be very difficult for the Terran player to defend the third base. Now, the reasoning for this is because of how open it is. It is a very open third expansion. It's very open third base. As a result, there's going to be a little surface area available here for a Roach Ravager attack. And we'll see if Percival can hold his own. Now he moves out. Now, as you can see, because of the Banshee harass, the medevacs were delayed, and instead of hitting at 5:30, this hits at almost 7 minutes. So get a very late move out. This means that the entire time Scarlett was free to drone, and drone up she did, up to 74. Getting up to 4 base saturation. Marines, they perk out, but the roaches have arrived, and Scarlett will deflect. And this was a big gamble. This was a big gamble from Percival to go for the Banshees, and it wasn't worth it. Unfortunately, it wasn't worth it. Again, as we were emphasizing, because he decided to go Banshees, that means that this double drop was heavily delayed, and the Banshees didn't pay for themselves. Marines, they're denying some creep. The Roach Ravager holds its own. We can see that with the infestation bit, Scarlett is taking up into Hive Tech. We have a Baneling Nest on the way, and it looks like it is just a Roach Ravager opener into Ling Bane Roach Ravager into Ultra Tech. So this is kind of like the standard ZVT meta before the patch. So this was popularized a couple of months ago, pre-EWC, during DreamHack Dallas by Shin, coming into EWC. So again, this was the go-to a couple of months ago. This is a little bit old school as a result, but I mean, still very much so viable. There's some safety infestors on the way. Percival pushing in. Again, it's just a very safe way to play this matchup. Infestors are coming. Their goal here is to lock down the army. Scarlett engaging barely out of range of the tanks, but tank volley is going to be going up. Ooh, nice fungal. Yeah, very nice fungal. Biles, they do force back the army. Scarlett trying to get on top of the tanks. Emphasis on trying. As the final Ravagers do get focused down, but she does break through the tank line. Yeah, the Marines go down the tanks as well, and Scarlett can just keep pushing. We can just keep on going from here. Forget about the Hive. The Hive is done, and the goal, I'm pretty sure, was to go in towards Ultra Tech, but at this point, Scarlett wins the main fight. Scarlett can just rebuild and push and break Percival. That was a big loss to Percival. As you can see, the supplies, Scarlett is almost maxed. Scarlett, she's almost maxed out. Again, there's that switch into melee, that switch into Ling Bane. There's the Ultra Cavern. Again, I will say that I don't think it's quite necessary anymore for Scarlett to tech up, but she's just making sure that in case Percival does stabilize, Scarlett is ready for that more later game state. So again, working towards those Ultras. Scarlett is soon to max out. And as you mentioned, Percival defending his third and defending his fourth base is going to be insanely difficult here. Trying to switch into Wind Mines. He's down to one tank? Yeah, just one tank. As the fungals, they shut down the bio army, and again, Percival is having a very hard time keeping up. Supplies is equalizing somewhat here, but Scarlett is remaxing, trading out Ling Bane. Oh, Marines, they do break into the mineral line though. Okay, 5-6 now. It's not bad. 6 runs going down. Scarlett a bit out of position. Percival does end up getting that center planetary. We'll see if Percival can maintain it. Again, it's still very much so a mid-tier army here out of Percival. The Ghost Academy just began. And we should be seeing Ultra soon out of Scarlett. Oh! As Wind Show gets dragged into the army. Decent fungal. Even coming in from behind with the roaches. Very nice flank, very nice surround. Scarlett cleans up the army, can just keep rallying from here. Once again, a better fight for Scarlett. I do feel like she can apply pressure to the planetary. I feel like that should have been the case previously as well. But Scarlett being very tentative. Wins the fight, backs off, now making Ultras. As we're still lacking some gases. Scarlett does move in. Allows down the tank. Ooh, Bailey connections in the mineral line, and this is what we were looking for. Finally, the fourth base goes down alongside 14 SCVs. Critical damage. Critical damage, right? And again, the Ultras aren't even really going to be impactful here. We have one Ultra Waddle again, but even without the Ultras, Scarlett has enough. Lands on the fungal. Oh, does every time with some of the infestors though. Losing those infestors. They at least are in a wave. And Percival does retake his fourth base on the left-hand side. So getting a fourth, getting a fifth base as well, at least attempting to. Percival does hold on. Unfortunately, Scarlett did lose every single infestor, so no fungals. Uh-oh. And no fungals. No Banelings either. Limited splash damage. Percival trading well. Here come the Banelings. And nice types of the Ravagers. Very nice. Banelings, they try to engage with the Ghost. They try. Oh no. Looks like they barely will. Was that 2 Ghosts going down? So key pickups for Scarlett. Now we have Ultras, now we have one Infestor. One Infestor. And again, thanks to this fourth base, Percival, he's maintaining himself. He's maintaining his economy, maintaining his rally. Losing all those ghosts was brutal. But Percival, he's slowly refining his army here. He's still a ways away, but ghosts are being incorporated. More marauders, liberators on the way as well. Now using to be harassed. Using as harassment options. Oh. Getting a queen. We'll disrupt some mining. So far, Percival, I mean, finding some finding some damage. We'll lose a ghost. Not like this. Ooh, but Scarlett out of position. The hero, 3 Marines, by 3 Marines. They kill 7 drones. Okay. 7 drones go down. We're getting messy. First one rotates up left. Scarlett once again out of position. Oh, but last one quite make it through into the base. Scarlett holding on. Gets a full medevac. Scarlett did re-drone. Did re-drone, did resaturate. And both players are maxing out. We're getting there. Yeah, maxed out. Scarlett does hit the 5th base. Not bad. Still no planetary, can always lift. That's going to be a lot of damage. At the same time, ooh, Percival was distracted. As Percival, he will lose the mineral line. Bailings, they break through into the mineral line as well, into the 4th. Planetary goes down. And these are losses that Percival cannot afford. Not like this. 22 SCVs and losing 2 bases. And oh, there goes. No cloak. You're losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, God. Yeah, 5 ghosts going down. Cloak is available, but again, Percival otherwise distracted. Attentions are being split, and this is getting out of hand. Very quickly getting out of hand here. Lings are still just popping off, still just getting free damage here at the 3rd. 38 SCVs. Drop gets caught out. And Percival is falling apart. This one is falling apart here. These past couple of moments. And without Scarlett is done, Scarlett has broken Percival. Again, it was quite intense, quite back and forth. Initially, Scarlett did have a very comfortable lead. And then Percival did claw his way back in. Did claw his way back into it. Wasn't able to maintain that. As here, the leagues are still just trading well against the bio. And Scarlett can just pull away, rebuild, remax, do it all again. Let's go. What do we have? We have, what, 5 ghosts? 5 ghosts, 1 marauder, 1 marine, and a couple of widow mines. Let's go. GG. GG gets called, and Scarlett will take game at number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Scarlett will take a lead in the series. Again, it was a much more comfortable early game from Scarlett. Scarlett took an early lead, was the first to max out, was able to comfortably get into even Tekken towards Hive Tech, and was winning those early engagements. I will say that Scarlett was a little bit passive this game, and despite winning some early fights and actually looking quite in a really solid position, wasn't really able to capitalize on that, and often wasn't pushing towards the 4th base and wasn't able to necessarily cripple the economy early on. So Percival was allowed to stabilize, was allowed to build up, and we had more of a back and forth as a result. But in the end, Scarlett did pull apart Percival's attention. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be loading into game 2. Game 2 is going to be on White Rabbit. Oh boy. Loading into game 2 here of the CBT. Meanwhile, a big shout out in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Inko in the chat. God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for 6 months. Half a year support. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. God. Thank you so much. So we are getting into game 2 and spawning. Spawning in the bottom hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the Canadian Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Shopify. It is Scarlett. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have her opponent. We have the blue Terran player, the South Korean Terran. It is Percival. We go. Getting into our ZVT. And again, Percival did have a very rough opener. Remember, Percival did go for a 2-Rax opener, 2-Rax Reaper, and did fail to really deny the third base, failed to really get much damage. It did kill one Queen, true, but did lose Reaper in the process. And if you remember, Percival was banking a lot on his hidden Cloak Banshee, and the Cloak Banshees didn't really get any damage done. We spoke about it, but because of that, that's why Percival's stim timing was delayed. That's why stim timing was lackluster. That is why Scarlett had a much stronger early to mid game against Percival, just because the opening builds did work in Scarlett's favor. With that, she was able to shut down the first push, shut down the first wave, get a full surround, and as we mentioned, I do feel like there was an opportunity there for Scarlett to press the issue, to press the advantage, and to push into the fourth base. Opted not to. The game continued. Scarlett won the second fight as well, and in the end was able to, for the most part, gain map control. Percival, he was given time to recover, and he was given time to recover and to build up an army and to hold his own for a time, but only for a time. So now we get into game 2, and show us what you got. For now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of Scarlett. Likewise, this time Percival going for a relatively, standard opener, going Rax Expand into a fast second Rax. Okay, so this isn't 2-Rax Reaper, this isn't the same opener we saw previously, but instead this should be a 2-1-1. Interesting choice here on White Rabbit. Welcome one and all. White Rabbit is a larger map of the map pool, very large map, but long rush distance by ground, much more defendable as well. I will say that because the map is so large, there's a higher chance that Scarlett is tempted to go into Muta play, and Percival might be trying to hard counter Mutas. Again, with the faster second Rax, we're going for an early stim timing. We're not going for any Hellions. This factory should just be for add-on support and just to build up. So from here, we can get into a faster Starport, into faster Medivacs, into a 16 Marine stim timing. That should be the goal. Now Scarlett, is staying in gas. Big tell. So link speed is on the way, Scarlett stays in gas. This screams fast lair. And if we're going for a fast lair, then there's a high chance that Scarlett wants to try to take early gases, wants to try to delay her own tech, delay her Eva chambers, delay her Bailey Nest, and rush into a fast lair into fast Muta play. I'm a little bit concerned. So Percival so far rolling the dice and rolling well. The Gamba paying off. Assuming this is for a lair. Yep, there it is. 2-base lair, 2-base Muta. Oh boy. And again, like, this isn't too much of a surprise. As you mentioned, it is more common to see 2-base Muta on White Rabbit because of how large the map is, and that is what Percival was banking on. So it feels like Percival was metagaming Scarlett. This same timing is going to hit like a truck. And remember, because we're rushing into these gases and into this lair, and because we're prioritizing gas income as well and delaying the third base, it means that the Ling army is going to be incredibly weak. Late upgrades, late banelings, and late production to actually make any Zerglings. So it's going to be a difficult defense. And unfortunately, Scarlett is playing blind. You can see here Scarlett has no vision. No vision, no recognition of what's going on. The one thing that Scarlett sees is what she doesn't see. That is Hellions. No Hellion harass here is a sign that something is wrong. It is going to be a Bailey Nest first. This will help somewhat, but only somewhat here. It's still going to be a rough defense, but it feels like Scarlett should be aware of what's happening here just because of the lack of Hellions. In her mind, though, it could be a 2-on-1 or it could be 3cc 2-on-1. But even then, 3cc 2-on-1 does have 4 Hellions alongside it, so Scarlett should be aware, and we'll see if Scarlett can survive. It's going to be a tough hold. There's the Spire, there are the Mutas. 2-on-1 moves out. Scarlett, I believe did not get a glimpse of the Medivacs, but now is fully aware. A bit of an F2 there out of Percival. Did actually turn back around. Time is of the essence. We gotta go. Scarlett building up her Lings. Again, every second counts. As seconds go by, we have more Lings amassing for Scarlett. This timing has to be crisp. Otherwise, Scarlett can't survive and get into Muta play. Percival stimming in. One of the Overlords going for the expansion. We have 4 Queens, and how many 30 Lings trying to engage? Nice kiting here by Percival as well. Takes off a decent chunk of Lings, but I think they're enough. Yeah, there are enough Zerglings here. Scarlett is barely going to be able to hold on. All the Lings go down, but the Queens, can they hold their own? It's going to be close. Yeah, still quite close to Hatchery taking a lot of hits, a lot of damage. The base may go down, but Scarlett is still living. Oh, losing another Queen there. Losing every Queen. Yeah, all 3 Queens go down. Mutas have arrived. Does get the expansion just barely. And we'll clean up the medevacs. Now, in the end, this was a very good trade from Percival. Percival, he traded incredibly well here. Percival losing 16 Marines and 2 medevacs for 28 Lings and 3 Queens and killing a hatchery and getting an Overlord. This was a solid trade, but this could have ended the game. This, I mean, you could argue this may have ended the game. Like, it has still done a lot of damage. What am I shot going up? Ooh. Critical damage has been dealt. And Scarlett is in a rough position. And we spoke about it, right? Like, this was a big gamble from Percival, and so far it feels like he's gambled well. Reading Scarlett from the beginning. And Percival has the supply lead as a result. Which shouldn't be the case here. But again, Scarlett is still stuck on a 2-base economy with 2-base production. And Percival's goal should be to end the game soon before Scarlett stabilizes. Should be the kill. Oh my god. Yeah, Mind Shot goes off. Muta's going down. That was what, 2 Mutas falling already? And there should be nothing to defend here. Like, there's no bailing. Oh, sorry, there is bailing speed, but there are no bailings. 0 bailings. Queen's getting called out. And Percival's here to force the ace match. Getting on top of the 3rd. Forcing a cancellation. Ooh, there it is. Does force a cancel. Bailing's just now being morphed in. If Percival knew there were no bailings ready, he could have just kept going. He could have just kept on going. For now, pulls back, rotates. Scarlett still trying to get a 3rd. Desperately trying to expand, but it's just an uphill battle here. And again, this was essentially just a build order win from Percival. Now, I say build order win, there was potential for Scarlett to maybe recognize what's happening a little bit sooner. Oh, the Mind Shots. Ooh, forcing friendly fire, but here comes the rally. And again, there's no Ling Bane. There's no bailings. No bailings whatsoever, just pure Muta. Ah, Pappy, we gotta send it. Keep going. No, there we go. Just waiting for a scan. Pushing forward, Scarlett's making 10 more bailings behind this. 1-1 is almost done. Now, there is a chance if Percival miscontrols, there's always a chance for something like that to happen. If Percival has some miscontrol and does panic, maybe the bailings connect. But it is something that shouldn't happen. Percival, oh, they're pre-split. Oh my god. Does pre-split. Trying to drag the army into Widow Mines. Slowly pushing forward. Widow Mine does fire. Yeah, again, nice spread, nice splits, and from here, Percival can just stim forward. We still have a couple more bailings left over. Up. And we get a decent connection. Okay. Bailings do connect. Scarlett trading as best as she can, does clean up every single Widow Mine initially. But there's still the rally. There's still the rally. There's still the reinforcements. Scarlett down to 0 bailings. We have 9 bailings morphing in. Oof. And without bailings, Scarlett cannot engage. Which means the space may go down. Scarlett forced to push in. Widow Mines are waddling forward. I'll pick up. Bailings. Not the most efficient connections. But does save the expansion. Ooh, trying to force friendly fire. Ah, no. Yeah, the Mind Shots are just too good. Mind Shots are brutal. And at this point, Percival has done it, has broken the base. I mean, again, it just came down to the first timing, the first move out. Percival just had so much momentum from the initial 2-1-1 timing. If Scarlett hadn't lost her 3rd base initially, then maybe. Maybe. As Percival's rotating. 4th CC is on the way. Oh, okay, we have some bird mines. I still didn't spot the bailings. He saw the burrow, I should say. Este Percival. Oh. That's like trying to engage. Oh my god. The Widow Mine's connecting. Massive mine connections here on the bailings. And even though Scarlett will deal with this army, this is still a better trade for Percival. Now, I say that Percival is very heavily reliant here on medevacs. That's where a lot of his supply is. Scarlett, never mind. I was going to say might have enough momentum to apply some pressure, but yeah, no shot. Now, one thing that is working in Scarlett's favor, I don't know if you noticed, but Percival, his army was late. I should have pointed out a little bit earlier, we saw the army being thrown down after Percival had killed the 3rd, but this is a very late armory because of that late 2-2. Percival should have an upgrade lead because Scarlett's 1-1 was so heavily delayed, but I believe Percival assumed the game was going to end earlier, so Percival, as a result, had a late armory, late 2-2 upgrades, and because of that, is going to have as much of an upgrade lead than the other way should. So that is something going Scarlett's way. Even here, catching reinforcements. Nice trades. Speaking of 2 Widow Mines, very nice trades. Getting into the main. SCVs are going down, and this should not have happened, by the way. Percival out of position. They're losing a lot of SCVs. And this is how you come back in this kind of game state. Is Scarlett finding damage, picking up Widow Mines, workers, Marines. This was a nice move out of Scarlett's, but Jesus, that supply disparity is insane. Like, it's it's crazy. I'm sure Percival might not have that upgrade lead, but still has the army. Widow Mine doesn't quite go up. Once again, decent engage here by Scarlett. But the Thor is here. The Thor. Maybe once again scans to the bird bailings. Cheeky moves out of Scarlett's. We've seen a couple of bird bailings attempted, but none have quite connected yet. Yeah, now he knows to scan ahead of time. Now Percival is aware. Oh, no! Mutas a stack up. Respect the Thor. Oh my god. Yeah, brutal mine shots. One of the best of the game. Mine shot goes off. Thor volleys on the mutas, forcing splits. Oh, get a decent bailing connection, but yeah, this time the losses are going to be too great. This time the muta count taking some hefty losses here. Down of what? 4 mutas. 4 mutas get away. Those were expensive losses for Scarlett. As Percival has not been mining too efficiently here, actually. Yeah, now transferring over. Percival working towards a 5th CC. Catching on the Mutalisk. Tech-wise, there aren't really many options here, so there's no potential for, like, investors. There is still bird bailings, and that's why Percival has been scanning quite a bit. You could argue this maybe has also impacted Percival's mineral income, as he's been muling that much less, being forced to scan more. As the door is left open once again. Lings a rush into the main, and this is less so about the damage that the Lings are doing, and more so just about the time being bought, about keeping Percival busy, dragging him back home. Ooh. As Percival is establishing a 5th. 3-3 has not begun. So once again, the upgrades are kind of falling by the wayside here for Percival. All the scans. Oh no! Catching up the meters. 2, 3 more meters going down. Once again, nice friendly fire. Drags some light shots into the Terran army. But GG gets called. Again, it's just been an uphill battle for the past 10 minutes. But GG gets called, and Percival does tie the series 1-1. GG. Again, it was a really rough start for Scarlett. Winding it back, Percival, I want to say, almost went for the hard counter. I say almost because, unfortunately, Scarlett had no vision, had no scouting, so everything just kind of lined up for Percival. Winding it back, what happened? Scarlett went 2-base meter, and Percival blindly went for a 2-on-1. So that is a very early sim timing. I will say that there's potential that Percival could have ended the game then and there. But if you remember, he did delay his drop. It was a little bit more delayed, and every second did count. In the end, Percival, he killed 3 queens, 28 lings, an overlord, and an expansion. It was a very successful 2-on-1. Again, had the potential to end the game, but did just cripple Scarlett. And the reality is that Scarlett never recovered from that initial 2-on-1 timing. So it was just a really rough start there for Scarlett, and a really nice gamble from Percival to be able to read that Scarlett would attempt to go 2-base meter on White Rabbits. GG well played. With that, we're going into the ace match. We're going to game number 3, and we'll see how this story ends as we load into Winter Madness. Let's go. Let's go. This is another larger map, and typically I would say, hey, this is a pretty good map for 2-base meter. I would have said the same thing about White Rabbits, but after what just happened in the last game, I would want to pull away from 2-base meter now. I feel like it would be quite risky to attempt that 2 games in a row, especially after how Percival approached in game 1. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the Canadian Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. Well, we have her opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player going for the proxy 2 racks. Sorry, 3 racks even. The blue Terran, it is a Percival. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3 SCVs. 3 SCVs are being sent out. We have the proxies being set up here by Percival. Bold move for Percival to go for the proxy, to just hyper commit and go all in. We'll see how Scarlett is able to respond and react. Scarlett so far going for her own natural base. So far it looks to be a hatch gas pool opener. The second overlord here should be rallied outside of the natural. So Scarlett will not scout the proxies, but Scarlett will have an overlord outside of the natural to scout the SCVs. So Scarlett will have some seconds to react. Meanwhile, Mass Marine is going to be coming her way. We have bunkers to support this as well. We'll see if Percival hides an SCV or not. What I mean by that, if you know anything about proxies and TVZ, responding and reacting to a proxy 2-rax and a proxy 3-rax, there is a difference. There is a difference between how you want to respond to both builds. And so very often Terran players will try to hide an SCV to make it look like it's a proxy 2-rax, especially when their raxes are not scouted. So Marines are amassing. Basically, there's a higher chance that Scarlett would pull the boys and pull the drones to try to defend against this, against a 2-rax. Yep, and you can see here, intentionally we're hiding the 3rd SCV. So this is very intentional. 3rd SCV is being hidden. First 2 do move out, bunkers are being thrown down, and Scarlett reacts instantly with a Roach Warren. So takes the gas geyser, Roach Warren's on the way, and Scarlett does not attempt to save the natural. Honestly, a very safe response, and specifically against a 3-rax, a very solid response here by Scarlett. I would say that this will be a really rough position if Percival was only going for 2-raxes, but because Percival was committing, this strong response and reaction from Scarlett is going to benefit her. So the hatchery's down to half HP. Roach production has begun. And Scarlett, with the help of these roaches, I believe will be able to save the base. Very nicely timed. We got the 4 roaches on the way. 5 roaches even. Jesus. Let's get supply blocked. It looks like the hatchery is gonna fall. Snipes the expansion. Does snipe the base. And Percival committing, doubling down, going into Marauder production. So he can cut shot Marauder. Ooh, Scarlett gets supply blocked. It's easy to repair. It's very important to note that Scarlett hasn't lost any units yet. Just losing the expansion. As now we've built up to 5 Ravagers. Another 5 Roaches on the way. While they do connect. A nice movement here by Percival though. Ooh, gets Ravager, gets Queen. Nice pickoffs. Down to 4 Ravagers. You can see Percival trying to snipe another Roach. Blast reinforcements have arrived. Scarlett going for the dive. This time should break the bunker. Yeah, bunker goes down, and at this point Scarlett has broken out. Has broken free. Percival is hoping for a couple of extra pickups here, a couple of extra Ravagers. And in the end, Scarlett has held. Not just held, but back at home, there's nothing. There's nothing here to defend. There's nothing back at home. Yo, we have Stim on the way. Let's go. Let's go. Stim is on the way. And I'm curious to see if Scarlett tries to hunt down the production first or goes across the map. What's the plan? We have Ling Speed on the way. Lings are amassing. Scarlett is going for an all-in. Does not intend to macro from this point. But because Scarlett is banking up Lings and waiting for Ling Speed, this means that Stim will finish. Stim, it should finish. Percival still rallying. Again, Percival is barely going to have an army. The problem with committing to a proxy like this is that eventually these Maxes will lift, or even if they don't lift, the production is across the map. It means that he's out of position to defend back at home. There is no defender's advantage, or it's limited. And here we go. Here comes Scarlett. Ling Speed will finish up during the fight, during the all-in. Has a natural just for larva. Yeah, Scarlett actually can even attempt to surround. Otherwise, Percival going for his own all-in. The boys are being pulled into the army. The Ravagers are exposed. Okay. Bit of a double-edged sword here. A lot of Ravagers go down, but Percival will lose every single SCV, and there are just too many Lings. Yeah, too many Zerglings. GG gets called, and Scarlett will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played. Scarlett will claim the series. A very intense back and forth here in this best of 3. Percival did risk it all with the proxy towards the end, and interesting kind of setup from Percival. What I mean by that is that Percival opted not to get additional bunkers, only got the 1 bunker, which I feel like is a little bit risky, considering that you're still building up into Concussive Shell, into Stim, and you're still committing to the 3 racks. Did kill the 3rd base, did get a Queen, did get a Ravager, but wasn't quite able to get anything more than that. Didn't really have much staying power. Once that bunker went down, that was it. That was it. That was game. Scarlett had broken out, and Scarlett could then commit into her own all-in. Again, unfortunately, Percival didn't really have much other options there. There is a chance that maybe Percival was able to actually bring the army together, have the boys being pulled, could maybe make something happen if Scarlett was droning. Problem is, Scarlett wasn't droning. Scarlett was going for her own all-in off of 22 drones, so had plenty of army to work with, plenty to handle what Percival had. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations. Scarlett will claim the series. Scarlett will advance on, and we're going to be following Scarlett into her next matchup. It is going to be another ZBT, by the way. We go from one Terran to another, and opponents only get harder from here. It's been great to see Scarlett's return to competitive play and return to Open Cups, but is now up against the king of Open Cups. I mean, the best Terran in the world is up against Clem. So Clem versus Scarlett coming up next. Again, Clem is looking to be on fire as of late. Has shown a little bit of weakness and has been stumbling a little bit in his PvT matchup when playing Protoss. When it comes to the other matchups, though, Clem is the best out there, and we'll see how Scarlett will approach Clem. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Tourmaline. As we are getting into our next game. Just catching up in the chat. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the French Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Canadian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Shopify. It is Scarlett. Here we go. Although for Christmas is some spicy Scarlett matches. Oh, let's go. Let's go. You're getting what you asked for. So we're getting into our fresh best of 3, and I would advise against going into anything too tech heavy here. I mean, welcome to Tourmaline. Once again, Tourmaline is a smaller map of the map pool. Aggression is favored here. Last time we saw Scarlett on Tourmaline did go for a Roach base build and Roach base opener. We expect to see Roaches here again. That does make sense. If we do end up in a larger map, that is where I would want to push away from something like 2-base Muta. We saw Percival punish it, and Clem is also one to punish 2-base Muta very hard. It's typically very in your face, very aggressive. But we'll see how our players do open up. Already a difference, of course. Clem does not open up 2x Reaper. True. So we have our initial openers. And we'll see how Scarlett will adjust. Once again, kind of what we're leaning towards and what we're expecting is to once again see Roaches into Roach Link Bane, into Ultra Tech. But I will say that Link Bane play, straight up Link Bane, is still very much so viable, even on these smaller maps. Thanks to the change of the Baneling, thanks to the HP buff. It is very much so viable. Let's Reaper pokes in. Back in, does get a Zergling behind is going for a third CC before Starport. So we have a very standard opener here by Clem. Going for 3 CC before Starport. Economic opener. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. This is going to give Scarlett a lot of freedom as to how she wants to approach this. Pulls out of gas. So pulls out of gas, no fast lair, which makes sense. It'd be crazy to go fast lair on Tourmaline. Ooh, and Scarlett does go for the forward expansion. Bold move. Very bold. It's got to be Roaches, right? This forward base is going to be vulnerable to the 7-minute move out. To the 7-minute timing. On the flip side, of course, it does mean the creep is going to be spreading faster across the map. So it could be indicative of an all-in. Clem is poking forward. Behind this, going into 3 CC Banshee. Again, very standard play out of Clem. Almost at Percival. Ooh, catching a transferring drone. I mean, that is one of the weak points here of expanding forward like this. As the path to your third base is more exposed. So it gets a drone, gets into the middle line, going for another worker, and does get one more drone. 2 in total. 3? Oh my god. 3 drone kills. Very nice. Nice trades out of Clem, diving into the third base, at least attempting to. Scarlett is in position. Maybe 430 lair timing, standard lair timing out of Scarlett. And yep, Roach Warren is thrown down. So Roach Warren is the take of choice, as we expected here. Again, it makes the most sense, not just because of the map, but also the base. You do not expand towards your opponent here unless you do plan on vying for map control, and Roaches are a way to do that. I'll even say the way to do it in ZVC. Nice, a very nice round. Locks down some of the Hellions, getting 1, getting 2. 2 Hellions get picked up, getting up to 3. Getting up to 4. Once again, you can see Clem fishing for drones. Ooh, as the Spore is late, actually. Late Spore in the main base. Banshee gets 2 more drones as a result. Behind this, we have our Buyer tank setup out of Clem. And Clem has scouted the Roach Warren. So Clem knows. Clem is fully aware of the Roach Ravager. You can see the all-in is upon us. We're just pushing already with the Queens. The creep highway is being set up. Again, the forward base was indicative of this. Scarlett is being hyper aggressive, but this is being spotted already. Like the Queens, there's no reason for them to be here. Clem knows. Yeah, bunkers on the way. So good read here by Clem. Bunkers are being thrown down. Tanks are amassing. And one way or another, the game is about to end. Either Scarlett breaks Clem or dies trying. As Clem is getting a second bunker. First tank is in position. Lings, they check for the third. They do get a couple of transferring workers. 4 CV kills, not bad. Banshees, they pick off a couple of Ravagers. Scarlett is fully retreating, so backs off. We have a massive wave of drones on the way, so Scarlett is going to try to transition out of the all-in. Rough position for Scarlett, though. Yeah, very rough position here. So basically what's happening is that the all-in has failed. Scarlett backs off, and all of these Lings, which would have otherwise been workers here, were a bit of a waste. It means the Scarlett economically here is behind, so has a lot of catching up to do, is joining up as hard as possible. 1-1 is on the way. If a station big gets thrown down, the game will progress, but Scarlett, again, has catching up to do. Clem has successfully defended. Now, I will say that at least Scarlett did retain her army, true. Like, instead of Scarlett trying to brute force the issue and break the natural, that didn't quite happen, so at least has a retained army here that can help survive and defend against pushes and defend against counterattacks. But it is a very subpar start for Scarlett. Clem breaks out. Clearing up creep. So far just trading against the Zerglings. Moving out with the second army. You know, you see here that creep is receding. And Clem is taking map control away from Scarlett. Now, what I will say is that Scarlett, I believe, does have 2 infestors. Yeah, 2 infestors are popping out, so with some good fungals, Scarlett should be able to hold her own. Bester moves in. Fungal connects with the Medivacs, not the Marines. There's a one Fungal left. Gotta make it count. Oh, Bailing's speed is not even halfway done. That is brutal. Just because we have so many Bailings. Oh, the slow Banes are moving in. Let's go. Massive tank shots on the Bailings. Match target firing into Clem. Yeah, it does focus on the Bailings. The Marines, they stim on forward. They can stim and they can win. Very nice Fungal. The Fungal connects. Scott has to get the hell out of here. Let's pull away. Marines, they stim in. These are very heavily stim Marines, thanks to the Fungal as well. But there's no Bailings, right? There's no Bailings. There's nothing to stop this army. There's no Fungals either. We have 7 Bailings morphing in. They will have Bailing speed. True. Here they come. Up. They're trying to. Yeah, they're trying to engage. Very nice target firing. Oh, God. Not a single Bailing connects. Ah, no. And Clem is on it. Clem breaks through. Breaks the main army. Breaks the Roach Ravager. The Ling Bane. Cheeky move out of Scarlett, trying to force friendly fire. Very cheeky. And looks like with Ling reinforcements, no, never mind. Speaking of reinforcements, Clem is rallying. Clem is rallying across. And rushing in towards the bases, towards the mineral lines. There's 3 Ravagers remaining. We go one Fungal. Fungal lands. 2 Fungals even. The chain Fungals. Now with Elbow the Fungal, Scarlett may barely hang on here, but not even. So too much man with gun. Too much. Down to 1 Ravager. No, we're fueled by copium right now. Let's go. The final Ravager goes down. GG gets called, and Clem will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, it all came down to the initial opener. Winding it back, remember Scarlett did go for a big 2 base all-in, or 2.5 base all-in really, did go for a massive move out. Unfortunately, Clem was able to scout this ahead of time, was able to slow down the economy, pick off some workers, and of course scout the queens. So with Clem scouting the queens, Clem had time to prepare, building up bunkers. Bunkers specifically were a reactive choice there from Clem. They did finish up in time for the all-in, and if you recall, it was a really rough moment when Scarlett had to drone. When Scarlett recognized that she could no longer kill Clem, where the all-in had failed, and even though the all-in failed, and even though there was no major clash of armies, Scarlett was behind, just because of the lack of tech, lack of economy, lack of production, lack of really anything else behind it. So Clem had momentum, and with that Clem was able to break through. That's the reason why Bailing speed was so late, for example, is because there was never a plan to get into Bailing speed and to get into a Bailing nest and get to tech up in that direction, because the game wasn't meant to last that long. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're getting into game number 2. We're going to be loading into Winter Madness. Let's go. We had some really nice Fungals, I will say, from Scarlett, some very juicy connections, but there was never any follow-up. Like, it would always be like a big Fungal, but it'd be a little bit too late just because there was no army to really follow up on that. But here we go. We're loading into game 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness. We have the French Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Canadian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Shopify. It is Scarlett. Here we go. It's kind of over the moment the all-in failed. Yeah, that was kind of the moment. I will say that there were definitely, it's one of those things when an all-in fails, you're in a very, very rough position, but there are sometimes like some avenues to recover. I would say the biggest like comeback potential that Scarlett had there in that game were her Fungals, right? Like there were some really good connections. Unfortunately, the good connections occurred after a bunch of army was dealt with, right? And a bunch of army was cleaned up. So unfortunately, it arrived a little bit too late. But there's a chance there where if Scarlett's able to build up those infestors, have like 30 extra seconds before the main fight to be able to actually bring together the army and consolidate the army to work towards Bailing speed, that there might be a chance to win an engagement there. So there were some comeback opportunities, but it was an uphill battle. Very much so an uphill battle. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2. And welcome to a much larger map. Now, winding it back, if you recall, we did kind of recognize that it was going to be roaches and an all-in very early on, based off of the expansion placement of Scarlett, and because it was on Tourmaline, right? Tourmaline is the smallest map in the map pool. Or I say that, I think 10,000 feet is smaller. I think 10,000 feet has a shorter rush distance, if I remember correctly, by like a couple of seconds, by like 2 seconds or something. So I think technically 10,000 feet might have a shorter rush distance, but regardless, Tourmaline is one of the most aggressive maps in the map pool. This is a much larger map. Winter Madness is one of the larger maps of the map pool, second only to Celestial Enclave, or maybe even Mothership as well, but it's huge, right? Very long rush distance, a lot of bases, a lot of expansions, and much more secure on 3 bases as well. Ooh, Scarlett is forced to expand on the low ground. Yeah, SV was in position, and that is a rough base to take. Oof. Now, this is the biggest weakness, one of the biggest weaknesses here of Winter Madness. It is a large map, that is true. You have a defendable 3rd and 4th base, but if you're forced to expand on the low ground, it is very open, very vulnerable. If Clem decides to go into 3-base aggression, even into a 3-base all-in, I would favor that push, specifically on that low ground base. So we'll see how Scarlett does approach this. Regardless, coming into Winter Madness, we do not expect to see roaches. Roach play is typically more indicative of smaller maps like Ruby Rock, Tourmaline, 10,000 feet. Makes more sense to be safe and to get into roach based play. On larger maps, you can get into Ling Bane, and you can even get away with Muta play. But you can see here, Scarlett pulls out. Scarlett pulls out a gas, so no fast lair, no mutas. If you recall, Scarlett did play Muta against Percival in the previous series. That was on White Rabbits. And I appreciate that we see no Muta play here, just because against an aggressive Terran, it can be difficult to get away with. Speaking of aggressive Terran, 3cc 2-1-1. Early sim timing. Early sim timing here out of Clem. So basically what's happening here is that Clem is going to be delaying his starport in favor of a faster second Rax and in favor of Stim instead of Banshees. So early Stim. Really fast Stim here out of Clem, as Stim has already begun. So this is a much more aggressive build out of the Terran compared to last game. And this makes sense. I'm pretty sure the goal here is that Clem wants to punish that low ground, right? He wants to punish the 3rd. Speaking of, oh, does get a turn. Punishing the Zerglings as well as they do line up. Clem going further in, and Clem getting a little bit greedy here. Was a little bit greedy, a little bit cavalier. But what I was getting at early on is that the alternative 3rd base option on Winter Madness is, it's not ideal. it's brutal. Taking the triangular 3rd is fine, it's very safe, but if you're forced to take the linear 3rd base, it is much more open, much more exposed, much more difficult to defend. And Scarlett was forced into it. So it is going to be lair first. So if that's a full 45 lair timing, a little bit late, but it's going to be a lair before Eva Chambers and before Baneling Nest. This is, I would say, a relatively safe opener. It does mean that we can get into faster Baneling speed, assuming it's going to be Ling Bane. And if it's going to be roaches, we would have already seen a roach one by now, but we'll keep an eye on Scarlett. Yeah, Eva Chambers should be Ling Bane. Stim is done in 10 seconds. 3rd base is being taken, and here come the medevacs. Again, this does hit around 5:30. Medevacs have arrived. Clem pushes. Okay, now what does Scarlett have? We have 13 Lings. 13 Lings, a decent queen count. The queen count is very high. And altogether here, the queen should be able to hold their own. As there's the first Stim. The queens, they can hold their own, they will deflect. So far, so good. As the queens roll together. Upgrades are on the way. Scarlett is actually heavily supply blocked, stuck at 140, 104 supply. Where are the overlords? Where are the overlords? I mean, the Marines, they still they trade well regardless. Picking up wings, getting a queen. Yeah, lack of transfuse. But Scarlett is banking 900. Oh. Wait, what? Okay, we're still in. But Scarlett, she's banking 900 minerals, 1,000 minerals. Oh god. Again, the supply book is brutal. Still no overlords. No overlords. Not like this. There we go. 5 overlords down the way. I want to say it's been over a minute. Ay, ay, ay. Do apologize for the random disconnection. But these overlords are very late here. 6 overlords on. A laser, calm down. Not like this. That was a brutal supply block. As Scarlett can now spend her money. Now spend her resources. Now, what I was about to say earlier when we saw the lack of Baneliness is Scarlett is not going Ling Bane, by the way. Scarlett is going Ling Ultra, or Ling Infestor into Ultra. So Scarlett is opting to skip Banelings in favor of Infestor and a faster Hive. This is very risky. This is a very, very risky playstyle. We've seen Raynor attempt and fail to do this time and time again. So bold move for Scarlett to go for this style. It is a bit of a newer approach in ZVT as of a couple of months ago. It's very risky, and we'll see if Scarlett can get away with it. Again, no Banes. 0 Banelings, pure Ling Infestor into Ultras. It's a very greedy kind of style to play. First Fungal does land. Nice connection. Yeah, very nice. Scarlett dealing with the first wave, the first push. And these are the connections that Scarlett needs. She needs like the juiciest Fungals. So far, so good. Clem backs off. At this point, Clem is aware. Clem has seen the mass Ling, saw the Infestors. Now Clem knows. Clem has played against the style when playing against Raynor and playing against Serral at Maestros of the game. So Clem is fully familiar. And Clem should also recognize that there's a big window in time where Scarlett is vulnerable pre-Ultra. Like, the Ultras are a big power spike. Like, that's the win condition. The win condition for Scarlett is to get into Ultra Tech. If she can get there, then she can gain map control. But getting there is the hard part. Getting to the Ultras. Clem moves out. Massive Ling counterattack right down mid. Let's go. Another Hellbats to defend. Hellbats, they trade as best they can. I'll pick up there out of Clem. Oh my god. Getting so much splash damage. The 2 Hellbats, they pop up. And here comes the main army. And again, there are no links to defend. Scarlett sent everything across the map. Yes, there are Fungals, but where's the follow-up? Oh, okay. Wait, never mind. We have chain Fungals. Jesus. Mass Fungal to defend, baby. Let's go. Expansion goes down. The mass Fungals are barely going to be enough. Scarlett's holding. Kind of. Defends one side, and on the other, should be able to defend as well. What was it? 22 SCV kills. That was worth it for Scarlett. Takes a massive economic lead. Again, it was such a risky maneuver to just go for a massive counterattack like that and just send every Ling across the map, but did defend with pure Infestor. Was able to defend. What about the next wave there? What about the next push? Ultras are on the way. We have 2 Ultras in production, but no upgrades. Kindness plating is still not yet done. So the Ultras are going to be made out of paper. They're going to be vulnerable. Lings, they collapse in. We have Blue Flame Hellbats, though. Once again, a nice Fungal. No second Fungal. Yeah, no second Fungal. GG gets called, and Clem will take the series, will snowball out of control, and will advance on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. A very intense series here between Scarlett and Clem. Again, this is a style that has been rising in popularity over the past couple of months. If you remember, the first time we saw this was, I want to say it was pre-Maestros of the game, which was, what, back in October? So it's been a couple of months going Ling Infestor Ultra. As you mentioned, it's a very risky playstyle just because you are vulnerable. You're vulnerable until you get into ultras, and we saw that Scarlett was doing the best she could to defend with the fungals. And again, we saw some really good fungal connections. It was a really bold move to go for the massive lane counterattack. It was able to cripple the economy, killing 22 SCVs. It was a great run by, a great counterattack. But unfortunately, towards the end, Scarlett did run out of fungals. You saw there that Scarlett had one fungal, and one fungal was not enough, just barely enough. We had some ultras on the way, but no upgrades for the ultras yet either. So Scarlett needed a little bit more time and didn't quite get there. Didn't quite get into the ultras. GG, well played. I will say that, winding it back, something that we kind of glossed over that we mentioned during the game was that Clem, we alluded to it, was that Clem is very familiar with the style, and something unique that Clem went for, if you noticed, was Blue Flame. Clem was playing Bio. You never see Blue Flame unless we have Mech on the way, but because Clem is very familiar with this playstyle, because we have seen this quite a bit from players like Raynor specifically, Clem's adaptation is to go into Blue Flame because there are no Banelings, right? If you're going against pure Ling, Blue Flame Hellbats as supportive units trade really well. You saw them defensively even against the mass lane counterattack, and even of course aggressively across the map. But switching into Hellions and switching to Blue Flame is a new adaptation that Clem has gone for specifically against this style, because there are no Banelings and there are no Roaches, and there's no other unit. It's like pure Ling Fungal, pure Ling Infestor. So really cool to see Clem also evolve against this style as well, incorporating Blue Flame Hellions, which is a really rare sight, right? Again, you don't see Blue Flame Hellions unless we have Mech on the way. So really cool to see Clem like adjusting and also having his own approach against this more Ling heavy style. GG, well played. As Clem does advance on to the semifinals. Just catching up. Fungals, a new storm. I mean, in a way, again, the fungals were impressive. Not even just in this game. If you remember, we were praising Scarlett's fungals on Tourmaline as well. We're giving them praise. But with that, GG, well played. With that, we're going to be cutting to a short break. It's going to be a short break here. When we come back, we'll have the semifinals and then the grand finals thereafter. After the break, it's going to be Clem versus Cure in a PvT. We'll see you soon. See you soon after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the second half of the broadcast. We just wrapped up with the initial round of 16 and quarterfinals match. Clem did take down Scarlett to advance onto the semis to face off against Cure in a best of 5. This is something unique to this tournament. PiGosaur Cup, for those that are curious, is a weekly tournament. Every single week it's an open cup, one of the many open cups that we do have on a regular basis. But what is unique about PiGosaur Cup is, unlike all the other open cups, it does have best of 5s in the semifinals. Typically, it is standard for every other open cup to have best of 3s, best of 3 semis into best of 5 finals, but for PiGosaur Cup it's best of 5 semis into best of 5 finals as well. So more games, more best of 5s are available here, and we are jumping into our fresh series. It's going to be a PvT between Clem and Cure. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on the Old Republic. For those that maybe are a little bit less familiar with StarCraft or less familiar with our players, you might be looking at this, be thinking, hold up, Clem, wasn't he playing Terran? Why is he Protoss? Clem, he has not played a TvT in over a year. Straight up, it's been over a year since Clem has played Terran versus Terran. He did switch to Protoss last year, end of last year, and has been sticking with Protoss specifically for this matchup. Let's go in. Let us jump on in. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, the French Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. We are jumping in. No exactly unknown ESL Open Cups, semifinals of best of 5s at one point. That was Pappy. That was a bygone. That's a bygone era, Pappy. That's but yes, at one point they were semis. At one point, I think in the grand lifespan of ESL Open Cups, they were not best of 5s, but there was a brief period where they were. If I remember correctly, I believe the players did a petition to move them to best of 3s because the tournaments were lasting too long. And if I remember correctly, I believe that is why they switched back to best of 3s in the semis. If I'm remembering my timeline correctly. But here we go. So far, double gas opener out of Cure. Meanwhile, we do have a standard opener out of Clem. So we are building up. But yes, coming into this Clem, he has some of the best PvT in the world. You can definitely argue that he has like probably top 3, sometimes even top 2. There's only one Terran player that Clem hasn't beaten, and that is when it comes to the top Terran players in the world, and that is Maru, only because they've never played. I say that technically recently they did play on the ladder, but like they've never played in tournaments. Like so that doesn't count. They've never played in tournaments. They have hit each other on the ladder before. Recently. As we are settling in. Again, delayed CC out of Cure, going for the faster factory into faster tech, and we'll see where this tech takes us. Whether we go into Reaper Hellion, if we go into early Cyclone, if we go into early Banshee play, eyes are on Cure. As Clem's going into his tech of choice. When it comes to Clem's playstyle in PvT, it's very mid-game oriented, and it's very rare to see Clem not go Twilight Council. The other Protoss players like Hero, Classic, and MaxPax, they are willing to mix in Stargate openers if need be, but Clem typically sticks with Twilight Council, but he does mix it up when it comes to how many gateways. Sometimes, oh, Cure. Okay, calm down, Pappy, calm down. Leave the critters alone. But Clem, he is known to mix it up into 2 Gape Link, 3 Gape Link, or 4 Gape Link Stalker. But before I get ahead of myself talking about what Clem is going for, Cure, he goes for a very fast 3rd CC. So greedy build here by Cure, opening up fast factory, delayed, natural, but a very fast 3rd base. So hyper greed out of Cure. And we'll see if he can get away with it. Now, when a Terran player goes for a fast 3rd base like this, as he did open up Triple Reaper, diving into the main base, distracting Clem, and looking for some economic damage, does get 1 probe. Does get 1. And gets a full scout, confirms the tech of choice. Gets a second probe towards the end. Oh no! A bit of miscontrol here. A bit of miscontrol here by Clem, who was distracted by the Hellions. Yeah, Hellions are diving into the natural base. That will allow for potentially yet another couple of probes going down, getting up to 4 probe kills. Nice harass out of Cure. Very nice harass. What we were getting at is when the Terran player does rush into a fast third base like this, they have a very big power spike in the mid game. You won't really see the power spike until the third base is claimed though. This allows for faster 2-base saturation and of course faster 3-base saturation as well. And once they get into their third base, they will have a big power spike in terms of supply. Meanwhile, Clem does poke out across the map. Cure is in position to delay the third. And Clem is going for the Prism. I believe he only has 3 gates. So 3-gate blink. 3-gate blink out of out of Clem. Oh. Takes down both Hellions. And Clem is being hyper aggressive here. Not as aggressive as 4-gate blink, but going for the Prism. Clem, he is looking for some counter damage. He knows he's sustained quite a bit. Clem has yet to scout the build of choice. But a good option to commit like this. He moves out, he expands. Clem pokes in. Pokes in, tank is in position. Does get out of range. Ooh. Gets baited in. Oh no! Yeah, the Prism taking a lot of damage. But so far it's going to be 2-3 ACV kills. Tank is on siege. Does he dive on the tank? He gets a Cyclone. It does take them the Cyclone. A little bit late there to pick up, but 1 Stalker does get picked off. But so far a better trade for Clem. Clem losing 1 Stalker for 3 SCVs and a Cyclone. And also he scouted the 3rd CC. True, that was the most important part. He knows. So Clem, he now knows how greedy Cure is being. How does he react? How does he respond? Ooh, as he, Jesus, tries to blink in. Gets 1 SCV. There's 2 bunkers here on the low ground. The Cure, he's ready for 4-gate blink Stalker. But again, Clem, he reacts with double forge. Double forge, double upgrades. He reacts with his own greed. Still looking for damage. We'll lose 1 Stalker. Lose 2 Stalkers. Miscontrol here by Clem. He does overextend. Does get 3 SCVs, but these were more expensive losses here for Clem, more expensive trades. As Clem rushes into 4th. Yeah, you can see here the 3rd isn't even saturated, by the way, but he just rushed into the 4th base. And again, the reasoning for this is because he needs he wants to try to keep up with the greed of the Terran. So economically he's keeping up. Getting his 4th base before the 3rd even lands. As you can see, Cure is building up that SCV count. More Stalkers move out. So again, Clem, ideally he wants to try to slow down this 3rd base, but there's just so much army to work with here. The Observer does spot the army, and Clem, you can try to bully, at least pick up a Marine. Gets 1. Gets 2. Okay. 3 Marine kills. Very nice. Jesus. Does blink away in time. Does get out, but very nice pickoffs here. You can see the Cure, he noticed, like, hold on, how do you see where I am? Did scan. Snipe the Observer. But nice pickoffs by Clem. Nice pickoffs overall. Cure, he breaks out. Back at home, Clem, he's taking up in towards Colossus. The Bay is on the way. Colossus are in production. But Cure, he's now broken free, and he's now active on the map. As he moves out, Clem moves in. Going for a Zealot drop. Not really much here to work with, though. Clem, I mean. Gets 1 SCV. Ooh, Cure, he's going for the 4th. Clem is out of position. Tanks will siege up within range of the Nexus. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, and he will lose it. He will lose it instantly. Massive pickup. I say that. Diving on the tanks. Can he save the base? The surround. Tanks will go down. Massive pickup. Warping is coming in as well. And no shot. Clem, he surrounds the army. Cleans up the tanks. Zones away the army. And he barely saves the expansion. That was like 1 or 2 seconds away from going down, by the way. You saw how fast it was being focused down by the army. By Cure. But no, Clem, he will barely save it. We need 1 more warp in. There we go. Zelter on the way. And Clem holds. This base should be dead. Like, the Nexus should not be here. It should not be here. Ay, ay, ay. Curie's gonna keep going. He's got to keep going, Pappy. As targeting the Colossus has arrived, and Clem holds. Yeah, like now with the arrival of the Colossus, Cure cannot break this position, not anymore. The push has failed, and Clem enjoys a greater economy. Ay, ay, ay. Again, Cure, he was within range, was in position, he was target firing. When Clem engaged Cure, he had to switch to the army as a result, and Clem had a very nice round, to be fair. Very nice round. That was very clutch. With that, Clem, he takes map control away from Cure. Cure races back home, and now we're building up into the mid game. Building up into the mid game here. Clem building on more Colossus. Cure switching into Viking production alongside Ghost. And remember, we spoke about this. We spoke about how when Cure takes his third base, he's meant to have a big power spike. I mean, that was the power spike. Like, that was... and he doesn't really have it anymore. Cure is meant to have a supply lead. As Clem is now switching up into disruptors. So initially, Colossus as the backbone of the army, now into disruptor production. Second Robo's on the way. Building up those Novas. So I love how Clem off raises his toss to avoid TVT, such a boss. I mean, at this point, I don't know if the phrase off race is applicable to Clem anymore. I would say that if Clem played Terran in TVT, that would be off racing at this point. Like, I would say that like that'd be like Clem in a weaker position. Clem is main racing back. For this matchup, of course. Like it's as Clem is rotating, does find his way up the ramp. Oh. Tries to at least. So far, it's a hefty Viking count, zoning away those Colossi. But remember, more disruptors have now arrived, up to 3 disruptors. We're going to keep our eye on those Novas. As again, Clem is getting map control. He's getting his 5th base, his 6th base. Like Clem, he has full map control. He's going to be building up his bank. Containing Cure. Here comes the first Nova. Oh my god, massive connection. Yeah, Nova goes up. Second Nova mainly zones. And Cure is being bullied back. There's still one more Nova available. Nice EMPs. Nice EMPs. Final Colossus does fall. And Nova was premature. But the first Nova now comes off cooldown. Once again, mainly zones away. One Nova left. Oh my god. Another massive connection. And Clem is done it. Clem, he has broken Cure. Breaks through the defensive line. Boys are being pulled. Another Nova. A massive connection on the Marines, on the Marauders as well, on everything. The Novas are too good, Pappy. Yeah, they're too good. Clem, he overwhelms, takes down 23 ACVs. GG gets called, and Clem takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Clem, he does take a lead in the series. A very, very intense game number 1 here. Winding it back, this wasn't necessarily one-sided. Cure, he was holding his own. Remember, Cure, he went for a very greedy opener into a very fast 3rd CC, and he built up into that massive 3-base push. And I'll say it again, he was meant to kill the 4th base should be dead. The 4th base should have died then and there. Like Cure, he was able to siege up within range. You saw how quickly like the health was falling, was dropping on that Nexus. But Clem, he was able to get the surround going. He was able to engage in time. He just barely saved the base, and that swung everything in Clem's favor. Once the Colossus arrived, the aggression had ended, and Cure was contained on 3 bases. He was just, from that moment, he was contained on 3 bases. Clem, he was able to mass expand, getting his 5th, his 6th base, max out, getting into disruptors, and just bully Cure as Cure tried and failed to defend his 3rd base. GG. GG, well played. Again, a very impressive hold there by Clem to survive and to defend that 4th base. Like, that was the game-winning moment for Clem, was saving that 4th base the way that he was able to. As again, like I can't believe he did. In my brain, I was like, oh no, it's dead. It's like there's no shot, no shot. Crazy. GG, well played. With that, Clem takes the lead, and now we're going to be loading into game number 2. Going to be loading into Ruby Rock. Just catching up in the chat. Share my papi, share my. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We still got a couple of hours left for Christmas here in Australia. It is 10 p.m. A little bit more. Thanks for Ducklings and the whole team for the stream. Ah, thank you, Tree SC2. Thank you. Do appreciate it. And also thank you so much for the bits. Thank you so much for the bits in the chat. Gracias, papi, gracias. We are diving into game number 2 of this best of 5, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the French Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is a Clem. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Liquid as well as their teammates. It is a Cure. Here we go. Now as we get into this, a big shout out to Trigger in the chat. God, papi, God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Trigger, for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Happy Halloween, papi. Ah, let's go. Don't stay out too late trick-or-treating, and take care of yourself, papi. Take care. Enjoy your Easter eggs. Este Trigger. Aye. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hope you had a great stream here, a great ladder session. Shout out to Trigger, by the way. Trigger, he did invest recently into a webcam, and now he has finger cam, so you can look at his fingers while he plays. Este Trigger. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. So here we go. I see in the chat, did any Protoss ever try doing manual charge on Zealots, like trying to prevent them from wasting it? Yes. Oh, I say that. Very often, there are moments where you see, obviously, hold position micro to make sure the Zealots don't overextend and don't push too far forward, to make sure that they don't get thrown away. Likewise, there's also been times where players do intentionally retarget the Zealot charge. So, fun fact, it's a bit of a, is this like a Fear Dragon useful fun fact? But technically, if you have a Zealot and you target a unit and it rushes forward and uses this charge, mid-charge, you can reselect your target and the Zealot just keeps charging forward and can retarget to a unit that's a little bit further back, and you can try to set up a surround. Like, there are ways to like mess with that, and we have seen that from time to time. Especially in TVP, when you don't want your Zealots to overextend, right? Specifically when it comes to pulling them back. You see it as well in PvP, just because Charge Archon Immortal is a very Stalker is a very common composition, and likewise you don't want to throw your Zealots away into Archons. So ideally you want to hold your Zealots back and be a little bit more careful with them, be a little bit more attentive to them before committing in. But yeah, there are some wild like clips out there when it comes to Zealots and what you can do with them. Infinite charge. Don't let the Zergs and Terrans know. There are clips out there. There are clips. But yes, you can retarget mid-charge. For now, though, Cure is going for a classic 3 ranks. Okay. So hyper aggression out of Cure. I say classic 3 racks. Not necessarily. Sorry, it's racks into factory into a 2nd and 3rd racks. Hyper aggression out of Cure. Cure, this looks like a 2-base all-in. Does look like at the beginnings of a 2-base all-in. The initial Reaper Hellion does poke out. So far the shield battery is ready, is in position, and Clem is holding as natural. So far so good. Now winding it back and focusing on the build of choice here, Cure, he's opting to delay the starport. Heavily delayed starport in favor of not just marine production but early stim. So early stim, early tanks. There's a high chance you just pull the boys. You just pull the boys with this as well. You commit, you just double down, send everything across the map. A hyper aggressive build here by Cure. Now you can macro out of this and get a starport into a very late 3rd TC, but if we see no starport momentarily, oh, so yes, if he gets in position, keep an eye on Cure. just depot. But if there's no starport in the next couple of moments here, then we do expect Cure to just send everything across the map. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. Shorter rush distance by ground. Orleans do make sense on Ruby Rock. They also make sense on Tourmaline and even on 10,000 feet. There are these smaller maps in the map pool that favor aggression. You have less time to react, less time to respond, and your bases are less defendable as well. How does Clem open up? 2 gateways in the main base. We have 1 gate with a natural, 3-gate blink into a 3rd base. Same build, 2 games in a row. Is the same build, and we'll see if Clem can scout what's going on. So far, he's playing blind. So far, Clem is in the dark. Warps in extra stalkers. He's making his way into the main base, and he should get eyes on the production. Yep, blinks in. He sees production. He sees all 3 Raxes. He knows. He's aware. Ooh. Does bit of miscontrol there. 1 stalker goes down. So we'll lose 1 stalker for a handful of Marines. Not the best trade from Clem, but at least he gets a full scout. At least he knows what's coming his way. And we'll see if Cure does pull the boys. As here comes Cure. You can see Clem trying to engage ahead of time, trying to slow this down. Yeah, stalkers are coming from behind. They do get 1 Marine. Not even. Tanks do siege. Nice trap. Ooh, massive tank shot. Gets 1 of the stalkers. Rebehelling gets across the map. And again, Clem, he is in trouble right now. He needs time. It charges on the way. He needs time back. Gets a Marine. Gets 1 Marine. Here come reinforcements. Up. We see Clem catching out some of the Reapers. 3 Reapers do get picked up. And Cure doesn't pull the boys. He's taking gases. So Cure keeps transitioning out of this. He's taking up into the starport, a very late starport. Tanks they get within range of the Nexus. And can Clem have a miracle defense here? I mean, the Marine army has been stifled. There's not that many Marines. Charge is done. Has he bought enough time? He has. Yeah, he has bought enough time. He blinks on 4, dives on the tanks. We'll get 1, 2, 3 tanks go down, but it's not enough. Not enough here. The reinforcements have arrived for Cure. He sims on in. Punishes the stalkers. Oh my god, losing another tank. We'll lose another tank. Cure, he's running out of steam here. He needed those tanks. Without them, he cannot break the 3rd. No shot. No shot. Clem is holding back. Ay, ay, ay. Let's pick up micro. Clem saving those zealots. Yeah, he breaks out. He saves the 3rd base. No shot. Ay, ay, ay. Takes down both Hellions. Picking up free Marines and free Marauders. Remember, there are no medevacs. Remember, this was all done without the starport. That's why there's no medevac support. That's why there's no way to save these units. So massive losses there for Cure. And Clemmy commits. No bunker. Yeah, no bunkers, no tanks, no nothing. Clemmy's here to end the game. He's here to end it. So the boys are being pulled. Curie's getting desperate. GG gets called. There's nothing to defend, and Clem, he will maintain his lead. Now up 2-0. GG. GG, well played. We'll take a 2-0 lead. In my brain, I thought this was the best of 3. My apologies. It is a best of 5, true. The series will continue, but Cure, he's up against the wall. And what's scary here, what's a little bit disheartening, is that these games, like, Cure's had a lot of potential. Game 1, we spoke about it. Cure, he was meant to have broken the 4th base, and he barely failed to break the 4th. Here, it's very similar. He was able to siege up within range of the 3rd, but he failed to kill the 3rd base. This time, it was a little bit different. I should give credit to Clem. Clem did successfully delay the push. He delayed the push. He was able to slow it down thanks to the Stalkers and thanks to the Warp Prism. Remember, Clem, he wasn't killing a lot of units. He killed like 3 Marines, I want to say. It wasn't about killing the units, though. It was about buying time. He was forcing sieges. He was forcing the army to back off, to chase the Stalkers, to chase the Prism. Every second did count, because as every second passed, that was 1 step closer to charge. Remember, charge was not even halfway done by the time that Cure was pushing across the map, and Clem bought the time he needed for charge and for the first Immortal as well. So GG, well played. Clem was able to buy enough time. He was able to survive and defend, shut down the push, save the 3rd base, and snowball out of control from there. And now we're loading into game number 3. Going to be loading into Winter Madness. Let's go. Let us go. As we are getting into our next game and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the French Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Liquid, leading the series 2-0. It is Clem. Hello. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid, sending out his first SEV. It is Cure. Hello. As the SCV does move out on its own, from here we can avoid the main scouting path and go for the eBay block here at the natural. Oh no, just going straight for the racks. Okay. Does go for the proxy at the third location. So he sets up his proxy. Clem is going to go for his probe scout. Clem, he should scout that the racks is missing. So Clem, he's going to get an idea as to what's going on. When it comes to this matchup, it is not uncommon to hide your racks further back in the main base, at the natural location, at the third base location. So it's on Clem to determine what is going on. As he goes in and he sees the racks is nowhere to be found. Confirms both gases. Clem trying to get eyes on any kind of follow-up. Reaver production has begun. Not the most committed proxy, by the way. Like, there's no tech lab, there's no second racks. But this has potential to get some probe kills. As Clem is not going for the zealots. So there's going to be a window. There's going to be a window in time where Clem has no gateway units, and this Reaper has free reign of the economy. So it's going to be on Clem to micro his probes, to pull the boys, pull them back, and buy enough time for the Stalker. And here we go. Reaper goes in, Stalker's on the way. Clem, he does pull back. Stalker's getting low. And he may lose one. Oh, it does pull away in time. Again, nice control here by Clem. Oh no, he's going for the dive. Yeah, he goes for the dive, he gets one probe goes down, and with that, only one worker kill and denied mining, of course. But that could have been so much worse. That could have been so much worse. You can see how low some of these probes are. But overall, nice defense out of Clem. So better defense. From here, the game will continue. Kira going for the faster factory into a delayed CC. And from here, we're building up. Once again, Twilight Council out of Clem. Wouldn't be surprised here if he goes into 3-gate Blink again. Just 3-gate Blink Stalker into a third. And so far, this opener has been lackluster here for Kira. Now, he still has the Reapers, and he can still find some damage. But Clem is being active. Reapers, they slip by. Making the way into the natural. Does hit the natural base, gets one. Can he get another? Looks like he will. 2 probes to 2 Reapers. I mean, again, not the best trade here for Cure. A 1-to-1 trade is not ideal. And we're following it up with a Widowmine drop. Okay. First Widowmine drop of the series. 2 more gates, so 3-gate Blink once again out of Clem. Again, no surprise, it's a very standard opener. It is the meta. So he's going to lose a handful of minerals just from pulling a little too much probes there. He does lose mining time, that is true. But Clem is still ahead. Like, Clem, he has a comfortable worker count. He's on 2 base saturation, building up his Stalkers. Sure, he does have quite a bit riding on this mine drop, making his way towards the natural. Boosting in. We've got 3 Stalkers in position. Clem does pull away. Ooh, we'll have a bit of miscontrol here. We'll lose one Stalker. So those lose one at the same time. Widowmine jump into the main base. The final Widowmine. Oh, Jesus. The probes did clump up for a moment. But Blink is out done. Yeah, Blink is out complete. Oh, once again, an early Blink out of Clem, losing another Stalker. Okay. 3 Widowmines for 2 Stalkers. I mean, that could have been worse. That could have been 0 damage, by the way. That should have been 0 damage. But here comes a counterattack. Now back at home, there's 1 tank in the main base, bunker on the low ground. Only 1 tank though. Oh, sorry, there's a 2nd tank in the mineral line. Punishes Clem. Yeah, I don't think Clem was expecting the tank further back either. Takes a massive shot to the face. And Cure holds. Cure, he's holding on. The tank does survive. And these Stalkers are very low. Once again tries to dive in. Doesn't get the Viking. Behind this, Clem is getting his 3rd base. From here, the game is slowing down. Cure, I would say that he's done a great job here at recovering. So far, he's been able to punish Clem, pick off Stalkers, secure himself on 2 bases. 3rd CC is on the way, and we're building up into the mid game. We'll see if Clem can slow down the 3rd. If he can slow it down, maintain map control. There's going to be a big power spike once all these upgrades finish for Cure. So combat shields +1, concussive shell. Cure, he'll eventually break out. And we'll see what he can get done when he does break out. Clem setting up for his 4th. Fourth base is on the way. And here comes the Unsiege. Now Clemmy does spot this. The Observer's in position. Clemmy sees the 3rd command center. He sees the move out. It's on Clem to slow this down. Pokes in. Gets a Marine. Gets 1 Marine so far. Cure, he should know there's an Observer somewhere.
Additional supply depots required.
Where exactly? That's another question. As +1 is almost done for Cure. Finishing off for Clem. You see Clem getting ready for a backstab, but charge is done. His main army moves out. Here comes a Colossus. Clem, he wants to break the 3rd. Uh-oh. And the Cure moves out. Base trade? Cure is moving out. Clem, okay, he respects it. He respects the army. He's responding to it. Doesn't counterattack, or at least he does with a handful of zealots. Cure is pushing. Clem attempting to intercept. Oh! Runs into the army, losing 1 Stalker. Zealots are deflected. And the tanks are on siege. He gets 2. Yeah, 2 tanks go down instantly. Massive pickoffs. Colossus moves in. Can he get until the final 2 tanks? It's getting close. And not quite able to. Colossus has to pull back. 2nd Colossi has arrived. But now there's only 2 tanks left. Oh no! Yeah, only 2 tanks remaining. Nice control here by Clem. Does micro back, saves a Colossi. Tanks do siege up. Focusing down the Colossus. Oh my god, does save it though. Yeah, once again, whole pick up micro out of Clem. Does lose a single Colossus. How much hate? 1 HP Colossus. No shot. The micro, Pappy. Clem, he holds. He holds on, Pappy. And he's barely holding on. 0 tanks left. The 1 HP Colossus. Hi. And with that, Cure is forced back. Cure is going to be forced back. Oh, a Bold Blink? Jesus. Bold Blink out of Clem. Calm down. Does beat down the Stalker. Behind this, Clem taking his 5th base. He has gained map control. Now Clem can mass expand. Blinks into the Widowmine. Again, Curie's had a couple of nice moments like this. Catching 2 Stalkers. Nice little wins, but when it came to the main engagement, of course, Clem was still able to dominate. Able to shut Cure down. And now Clem can get comfortable. Cure going for a 2nd starport, going to mass Viking production. The Academy is not yet on the way, so no Ghost Academy yet, going for the 4th CC. But again, Curie's contained, right? Like, that was his moment. That was his moment to break the 4th base, but we saw that Clem, he had vision thanks to the Observer. He was able to spot the move out, able to engage ahead of time, able to shut down the tanks 2 by 2. And the move out failed. So now Curie's stuck at home, and now Clem, we have a 2nd robo on the way, and we are getting ready for Disruptors. Speaking of, there they are. Disruptors are in production. We saw how well Clem was able to handle his Disruptors in game 1 on Old Republic. On the Old Republic. So Clem's going to be able to comfortably max out, take more bases, and it's going to be up to Cure to just turtle up. So this is where the dynamic of TVP changes. Once we do kind of end that first push, that first move out on 3 bases, then if the Terran player fails to get momentum, they're stuck at home, they have to turtle on up, build up their 4th base, get a 5th base, and max out. So Curie is just stuck at home. It's a very Marauder heavy composition. Jesus, how many Marauders? 25! 25 Marauders. But again, Cure is stuck at home, and it's on Clem to either break Cure on 3 bases or contain him on 3 bases and deny the 4th, right? Deny the 4th base. That's why you have a Zealot here at the linear 4th, and you have a Zealot here at the triangular 4th. If Cure ever tries to expand, then Clem should be there to stop him. And Curie just has to just slowly build up and perfect his army. As we have our first wave of ghosts on the way. We already have 3 ghosts as a part of the main army. EMPs are available. I believe that is a 3rd robo. Yeah, 3rd robo is on the way. You can see Clem getting a 7th and 8th expansion. Getting up to 8 bases, pappy. And Curie's getting his 4th. Clem should respond. You can see Clem rotating. Clem, he rotates. Again, Clem, he should punish this 4th base. He's trying to rotate over. He does have a massive amount of Zealots ready for a run by. So Clem looks like this is mainly a distraction. Mainly a distraction. He does poke in towards a 4th. Curie getting in position. Zealots are making their way into the natural. Novas go up. Ooh, massive connections. And Novas do connect. Zealots, they do hit the natural. They're catching reinforcements. They bust into the mineral line, and Curie's out of position. Does get 2 Colossus, but the Colossus do not matter. Not anymore. We have more Disruptors rallying in. And Curie, he has to commit. Yeah, he commits out. Losing 23 SCVs. Where are the Novas? Losing 2 Disruptors. Miscontrol here from Clem. Oh! Oh my god, once again, massive connection. He takes the Novas to the face. The Novas are crazy. And Clem has done it. Clem, he has just broken Cure. He breaks the main army. He breaks the economy as well. Again, that was 23 SCVs going down, and Cure, he's forced all the way back. He has no army to work with. Technically, Cure did get a 4th base, but at what cost? At the cost of his army and his economy. Now, Clem did lose like 3 Disruptors in the retreat, which was less than ideal. So he has a very low amount of Disruptors left, but he's got plenty of Zealots. And he's just going for the trade. Gets a Ghost. Takes out one of the Ghosts. Vikings forced to land. Ooh. Never does graze the army. And even if Cure holds here, and Cure he will hold, this is still a better trade for Clem. Like, Clem, he's just forcing a trade out of Cure. Clem, he just killed, like, what, 2 Ghosts? 2 Ghosts, he almost reset the Viking count. These are still better trades for Clem. And here come the reinforcements. What is really saving Cure? No War Prism, right? There's no War Prism, there's delayed reinforcements. Clem is warping in back at home. So it takes a long time to reinforce. But Clem is maxed. He's maxed out. And Cure, he's at death's door. There's a crazy army, no major connection this time, but I mean the connections that were ideal previously. It's already fine. Clem gets forced back. This Clem is on 93 probes. Jesus. Yeah, and at this point you can just bully the army. The Novas are just keep being sent out. Ooh, bit of friendly fire. Bit of friendly fire, but it's fine. You could argue maybe too many disruptors at this stage of the game. It's mainly disruptor. But Zealous is still breaking through. And GG gets scored. GG gets scored again. Cure is broken, and Clem will take the series 3-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Clem, he does claim the series here. Again, I want to say that Cure, he had these big opportunities in all three games. In all three games, he went for a big move out on 2 to 3 bases. We saw them in the first game on the Old Republic, if you remember, where Cure should have killed the 4th base, but barely didn't kill the 4th. And from that moment, Cure, he fell far behind. So we saw that on the Old Republic. In game number 2 on Ruby Rock, we saw Cure commit on 2 bases instead. He went for basically a 2-base all-in, but Clem did an amazing job at slowing down the push, slowing down Cure, buying time for charge and buying time for Immortals, and then Clem was able to shut down the 2-base aggression out of Cure and just snowball from there. Basically just shut down the all-in. And here in game 3 we saw something similar. I will say that this game was maybe the best we saw at Cure, as he was able to get a bit of a better early game, picking off a lot of Stalkers and lead up to the mid game. That wasn't too bad from Cure. But when it came to his move out, Clem saw everything. He saw the entirety of the move out, so he had the luxury of engaging ahead of time. And remember, he caught the first 2 tanks on siege. Remember, he got 2 tanks on siege at the beginning of the fight, and then he was able to reinforce, slow the push down, and then get the final 2 tanks towards the end, having some amazing War Prism micro, saving those Colossus. But I can see a world where if Cure was able to preserve those 2 tanks and push with 4 tanks instead of 2, maybe he breaks the 4th base then and there. Like again, that was a really close fight that we saw between Clem and Cure when Cure was pushing to the 4th base. But basically, once that push failed, Clem was in control. Again, like once that push failed, that meant that Cure, he had to turtle up at home. Clem got up to 8, up to 9 expansions towards the end. I think he was getting a 10th base towards the end. He had full map control and was free to tech up into disruptors. And we saw some insane Novas out of Clem. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations. Clem, he does claim the series, and with that, Clem, he'll advance on to the grand finals to face off against his next opponent. And who is going to be waiting for him? It's going to be the classic Pappy. Let's go. It's going to be a best of 5 finals between Clem and MaxPax. Again, they are 2 regulars when it comes to the finals of these Open Cups. Clem and MaxPax, they are very, very active when it comes to the online tournament scene. And they do very frequently face off, whether it's in the quarterfinals, semifinals, or grand finals. They do face off very often. Let's go. As game 1 is going to be on 10,000 feet for the first time tonight. Let's go. Is this live or a replay? Oh, shout out to Stream Elements for reacting, for responding. If you do look in the title of the stream, it should say replay cast in the title. If we ever do have a replay cast, it is always in the title of the stream. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the Danish Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the red Terran player, the French Terran for Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go, and now the shoe is on the other foot, so now it is time for Clem to, he was able to pop off and able to take down one of the best TVP players in the world in Cure, and now it's time to face off against one of the best PvT players in MaxPax. Clem was able to win with Protoss, but now can he win with Terran in the same matchup? Let's go. Let us go. Now again, Clem, he has the best TVP in the world, 100%. I would say that Cure has the second best. I do rate Cure's TVP very highly, more than Byun, maybe on par with Maru. But you do not get better than Clem in Terran versus Protoss, as the SCV moves out. Now, MaxPax and Clem, they play against each other so often that there's often like metagaming within each other as well. We do see that Clem, he attempts the eBay block, but the probe scout is very fast, and MaxPax, he will deny this eBay real fast and real quick. So nice scouting, nice reaction out of MaxPax. As the eBay shouldn't get much progression and should be cancelled. So early on, a better start here for MaxPax, as ideally you'd be able to force the unnatural natural. It is very common to see that on 10,000 feet. We do very often see Clem going into an all-in off of denying the base, but he fails to deny the expansion. And classical Clem versus Prince. Now Prince retired. Prince, he retired. Smurge, back to Smurge. Give me my Prince. Cannon rushing Maru and GSL. That's great. He had a couple of really like key moments in his career, to be fair. As Clem does it up on the low ground, again going for his double gas follow-up here, racks into factory, into delayed CC, over the failed eBay block. Otherwise, welcome to 10,000 feet. We actually haven't been able to discuss this map, as this is the first time we're featuring it here in tonight's broadcast. But 10,000 feet has the shortest rush distance out of all maps in the current map pool. Likewise, it's just a really small map, very aggressive map as a result of that. The initial 3 and 4 base setup is pretty secure though. Like thanks to the high ground, thanks to the points of elevation, we've seen a surprising amount of like mid to late game here on 10,000 feet as a result of the more defendable 4 base setup. We'll see if we can get there. I'll be honest, we have yet to really experience any kind of late game. We've had longer games, that is true. We've had maxed out armies, but I would not consider that late game necessarily. Clem pokes in, picks up the initial death. Poking forward again, he wants to get into the mineral line. He's going for it. Yeah, he's going for the dive. Gets past the Stalker, pushing into the main base, and how many probes can he get? We'll get 1, 2, 3 probe kills so far. Decent damage here by Clem, getting further in, and he's still not done, by the way. Oof. Getting up to 6, getting up to 7. Can we get 8? Uno más, papi, uno más. 1 more heli volley. Oh my god, the probes they line up towards the end. 10, 11. No shot, 11, 12 probes going down to the early Reaper heli, and this should not have happened. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, that is critical damage. That is critical damage. I assumed up to like maybe 5 probe kills, maybe, but no, that was insane damage for 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions, and with that, Clem takes a massive lead early on. Bearing in mind that this early economic damage, it's even more useful, or I should say, it's even more impactful the earlier on it is, just because your working count is so limited. So this heavily slows down MaxPax. Clem is not done, going for the line drop follow-up. Hits a natural, Woodman's do borrow. Jesus. Clem pulls away. This Widowmine actually denies any kind of mining. So MaxPax, he's stuck on a 1 base economy. He cannot mine. He has to be careful. Be careful, baby. Oh no, they're retargeting. Oh my god, massive connection. 7 more probe kills. MaxPax did not notice the Widowmine, getting up to 9 probes in total, and MaxPax, he's falling apart. He's just falling apart here in the early game, losing far too much in total. How many did he lose? 21 probes. This is game-ending damage. Straight up game-ending damage here. Ay, ay, ay. You cannot afford to lose 21 workers this early on in the game. Not like this. The pressure's on. We do have a counterattack back at home. There's not much to defend. True. We gotta go. We gotta commit. You do see the Marines, they do rotate from the low ground. We got 1 SCV, we got 2. It's something. Getting up to 3 SCV kills. Getting a 4 towards the end. At the same time, we do have Stalkers pushing in towards the natural. Okay, nice damage here. Again, MaxPax, there's so much pressure on him. He has to find some equalizing damage. And this is nice, but this is still not enough. You can see just how massive the economy here, how massive the worker count is for Clem. 38 SCVs to 23 probes plus mules. So this is this is nice damage, not good enough. We need more. MaxPax, he needs more damage. The War Prism did recall back home. Prism did recall. He has limited warp-ins, as his economy is limited as well. MaxPax is essentially all in. He's essentially all in here, as he's moving into a tank and a bunker. Again, it's all or nothing. MaxPax is going for it. Baits out the tank shot. Diving in, takes down the tank. Boys are being pulled. There's the auto turret going for the Prism. Prism is going to be targeted. GG gets called. The all-in fails, and Clem, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played again. Crazy damage, 21 probe kills at the start of the game. I mean, fun. I mean, I would even argue that the Widow Mines was like the cherry on top. Even before the Widow Mines, losing 12 probes to the Reaper Hellion was already critical damage. Like that was already brutal. To lose another extra 9 workers on top of that, like that was. I mean, again, that was game then and there. We saw that MaxPax, he attempted to counterattack. He found 5 SCV kills, but as you mentioned, that was not good enough. Like, he had to do some critical damage there, and that's why he was forced into the all-in at the end of the game. Last the all-in did fail. GG gets called, and with that, Clem takes a lead. Now we're loading into game 2. Let's go. Loading into game 2. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Psystorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. So we're getting into game number 2 here. Again, Clem with a very explosive start to game 1. No pun intended there. And we'll see how we'll approach things on a much larger map. Remember, welcome to the Old Republic. This is a very large map of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground, but it has a very accessible 3rd, 4th, and 5th base. The bases themselves are a lot more accessible here, so we do often see a lot of 3-base aggression, and we'll see what Clem decides to go for this time as his SCV is being sent across the map. He tries to avoid the probe scouts, but they will run into each other. MaxPax sees the SCV, and he should be able to deny any kind of attempted eBay. Yep. There you can see that Clem is attempting for the eBay block. The probe is in position. Clem was already seen. And 2 games in a row, Clem attempts the eBay block, and 2 games in a row, it will fail. As more boys are being pulled. Across the map, this should be forcing out a factory. We could see Clem still attempt to go for the CC, but again, this is delayed because he had to invest into the eBay. So we should be seeing the factory. As the SCV gets very low. Oh god, Jesus. The SCV goes down, a nice pickup. There's a cancellation on the eBay. Clem gets a refund, and he does have enough here for the command center. There we go, CC on location. So a delayed CC first here by Clem, or delayed Rax expand. Going for the Marine and looking to settle into the Old Republic. Let's go. Settling in. Early on, I'm liking MaxPax's position, but we'll see where Clem takes us. Now, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Clem go for a 3rd CC after the factory. We saw that build by Cure, if you recall, and Cure, he had a really big power spike as a result. And again, I still feel like he should have won that game. Like, I'm still thinking about Cure versus Clem on the Old Republic. So we could see something similar here. We'll see if Clem goes for a faster starport or a 2nd Rax instead. Here we go. Because how large the map is, I'm not really too fond of 2-base play. Not on the Old Republic. Twilight Council opener out of MaxPax. So let's go for the Council, getting into Blink. So far, MaxPax is going to be zoned away. We are indeed getting into our 1-1-1, so no fast 3rd CC. So more standard follow-up and a more tame follow-up here from our players. So we're just slowing things down, building up into the mid-game. As Clem does open up with his drop play. Going for a Cyclone drop. Going for his drop. MaxPax taking his third. I believe this is off of 3 gates. No, 2 gate. Okay. So MaxPax being greedy, going 2 gate blink into a fast third. A greedy build here, greedy play. At the same time, it never gets in. 3 SCV kills. Nice damage here by MaxPax. So MaxPax being hyper greedy and killing SCVs off the back of this. Not bad at all. Remember, MaxPax, he delayed his robo, he delayed his gateways. And we'll see if Clem can punish. He's going for it. Clem is moving out. He's going to be reinforcing with the Liberator and the tank. I'm not too fond of this here on the Old Republic just because of how large the map is, but we'll see if he can pull this off. It's going to be difficult. He spots the third base is almost done. He now confirms the greed. Able to unload. Blink is on for MaxPax. Yeah, Clem, there's nothing you can find here. No damage. Clem, I meant to say. Oh no, he's gonna lose the full medevac as well. Massive pick off. MaxPax is just all over Clem this time. This game, like MaxPax killing SCVs, they're getting a greedier build that shuts down the drop play. Ay. Very rough position for Clem. Now we have a move out, but again, with significantly less support for it. As Clem lost 9 Marines already. Liberator does harass, gets 2 probes. Main army moves out. They catch the Observer. Clem doesn't commit. Because Clem got spotted by the Observer, he knows that MaxPax is on his way. So Clem pulls back, and MaxPax, he peels off 1 Stalker to tank a tank shot if we're hiding in the tall grass. So both players checking each other. And we have a third CC. Third CC is on the way. Coming into the mid game, MaxPax is in a better position, 100%. Like, he's in a better position here. He's had the better economy. He's getting map control. We can see Clem trying to catch out MaxPax. The Observer does spot the army though. Ooh, late reaction. Late reaction out of the Protoss, but he bypasses the main army. Rotating to the third. Nice snap of the Observer, but he has the high ground. Oh my god. Yeah, Clem out of position. As Clem looks like he does get 1 of the Stalkers. Gets 1, bleeds off the Cyclone. Still better trades from MaxPax. Once again, you can see Clem trying to bait out the army. Gets the tank shot off. Just catching 1 Stalker. Charge is complete. You can see MaxPax getting ready for a surround. Or even a drop. Okay. Jumping into the main. He's making his way in. Liberator, I think, did return. As else, they do catch some reinforcements. You can see Clem turning most of his army back home. Yeah, he turns everything around. SCVs are going down. And again, MaxPax just pulling Clem apart. Getting 8 SCV kills. Clem is contained. MaxPax getting another base. Getting a 4th. Tanks are unsieged. He wants the tanks and he gets them. Yeah, 1 tank goes down. Just the 1. I feel like MaxPax could have committed there. He's waiting for the Immortal. Oof. More Zealots into the main. A little bit less successful this time. Clem is ready. Still losing 5 more SCVs. And Clem holds. Clem holds on. MaxPax is up a base. He's getting his 4th. He has map control. For the most part, MaxPax, again, he's still in a better position. And he doesn't catch the medevac. The pressure's on Clem. And there are ways to recover in this game with drop play, for sure. There's potential. But these drops, they need to find damage. Clem, he's desperate. Drops into the 4th. Nothing's in position. Okay. Gets 3, 4 probe kills. Not bad. Saves the drop this time. Making his way to the main. Oh, he's trying to. Doesn't quite get in. Clem, he breaks free. Now, thanks to this drop, MaxPax, everything is at home. Everything is at home to defend, which means MaxPax doesn't slow this down. Clem, he freely walks across the map. This should not have happened. Oh, Widowmines overextend. Losing 2 Widowmines already. Prism is active. So far, nice force fields, nice swipes with the Colossus. MaxPax, what's he going for? Does he go for the surround or the backstab? He's going for the backstab. Ah, but Clem is ready. Clem, he has an army in position. Distracted by the Zealots. Okay. MaxPax finding some damage. He breaks out. Oh, he at least tries to. Better engage for Clem. Get some tank shots off, and Clem's push has failed in the sense that he doesn't get across the map. But, I mean, he had some nice moments here. Got some nice tank shots. He shut down the harass. We have somewhat of a back and forth. I say somewhat because Clem is forced back home and his 4th CC is late. Like, MaxPax should still be the first to max out. Now, we saw that Clem was very fond of going into triple robo into Mass Disruptor from here. MaxPax so far is staying on 1. So far, still just 1 robo. MaxPax is going for a much more classic Mass Gateway composition instead. Has yet to switch into Storm or Disruptors or Sky Toss. Just Mass Gateway, man. This is a lot more classic. This is how PBTs have been looking for the past couple of years. The downside is that the army is more fragile for MaxPax. But it is cheap. It's a cheap army. And his goal is to just leverage his economy and just outtrade Clem. Just like send wave after wave of charge outs. It's like a swarm toss kind of style. As MaxPax is on a very low gas count. Double drop moves out. Here comes MaxPax going up the ramp. It does commit in. Ooh, decent mine connections. Yeah, Widowmines are going off. We do see Clem kiting back. Decent concave going for the Colossus. He gets 1. Yeah, he gets 1. There's just not enough Zealots. Yeah, not enough charge outs here. I say that. The army is a little bit overstimmed. He kites back for more Vikings. And Clem holds. Yeah, Clem, he shuts down the main army. At the same time, the double drop got across the map. Gets into the 5th. MaxPax is racing back home. And this double drop will kill the expansion. Kills the Nexus. 11 probes. MaxPax losing a Colossus in the retreat. And MaxPax is just being pulled apart. Just being pulled apart here. And this is the downside of going for this very cheap army, is that if you start losing Colossus, it takes so long to replenish because MaxPax only has 1 robo, right? It's only 1 robo as opposed to Clem, who had triple robo production, if you recall. So it takes a long time to replenish the backbone of the army, and MaxPax is stuck with pure Zealot. Like, this style is very momentum-based. Very momentum-based. You are heavily reliant on containing your opponents, and he failed to contain. This double drop is winning Clem this game. Killed a base, killed the mineral line, dragged MaxPax out of position. MaxPax down to 2 Colossus. Ooh, Prism goes down. Yeah, Prism goes down. There's nothing to distract Clem. And Clem gets a 4th base. Again, this should not have happened too freely here, but Clem getting a 4th base is a big power spike. Clem is maxed. MaxPax is struggling. Struggling to hold on. Desperate for a counterattack, desperate for a run by. Clem starts up 3-3. 3-3 has begun. Clem has a massive army to work with. What Clem is lacking is Ghost. You can see here the Ghost Academy was delayed for Clem. So late Ghost production, late EMPs. True. And Clem is staying at home. He didn't counterattack. So this is giving MaxPax the time to rebuild his Zealot army. And MaxPax is going for Storm. Okay. Storm is on the way. Vikings, they do reset the Colossus counts. Oh, MaxPax, he cannot take this fight. Yeah, he commits in, losing every Colossus. Yeah, this is not the fight to take. This is... Ay, ay, ay. MaxPax getting bullied back. Prism goes down. And Storm is almost done. We have 0 High Templar. Never mind. 0 Templar, 0 Storms are really available. There's a couple of Archons and a lack of EMP will hurt Clem. He gets 3 Colossus. And it takes down the Colossi. Does overextend though. Yeah, the Gateway army does catch out Clem. Jesus, that's a lot of Zealots. that's a massive charge of the army. Meanwhile, Clem, he gets into another base. Nice more mining. MaxPax, he's rushing across the map. Now, Clem, did he lose too much when he moved out? He may have. He may have just lost too much. The mass Gateway army is overwhelming. Clem is in trouble. The Vikings at a supply. Yeah, jobs are being cleaned up. MaxPax is now focused on the main push. And again, even though it's a very cheap army, it's very quick to remax, very quick to rebuild. MaxPax denying the expansion. Has to respect the Ghost though. Again, that's a lot of EMPs. MaxPax has to calm down. Calm down, moving out for his own run by and gets spotted by the factory. Ooh. Storms are now available. Nice target prying at a Clem. Gets 3, 4, 5 out to 6. 5 pro kills. The drops they continue. MaxPax, oh, he barely does miss them. Barely does miss a double drop. And remember, Clem's army is superior here. Like, he's perfecting his army, getting into more Liberators, into more Ghosts. The Lib count isn't quite there yet, but he's working on it. Going back to Vikings. Cells, they collapse in. And Clem just pulling MaxPax apart. Nice EMP. There are more Zealots coming. He does focus on every single Stalker. The control back. And again, the problem here for MaxPax is that playing this style, you're meant to have map control and you're meant to contain. But to be honest, MaxPax has failed to contain. He failed to deny the 4th base of Clem, and now he's failing to deny the 5th base. Now the 5th base is on the way, so Clem economically he's maintaining himself, he's keeping up with MaxPax. Now we have our Storms. Oh, nice snipe. Gets High Templar. Again, the 5th base is now operational. MaxPax going for his own run by. Vikings, they reset the Colossus count once again. Yeah, number Colossus, limited Zealots. Run-by does hit the natural, but Max actually will lose the main army, losing the Colossus, the Zealots, and even the Stalkers. Has to get the hell out of here, and he may just trigger the counterattack. Zealots are warping it in time. Nice Storm. Nice Storm does zone away. Zealots, they do catch reinforcements. These are nice trades from MaxPax. Going for the Ghost, going for the Vikings. Getting 7 SCVs. This at least buys some time. But MaxPax, he still needs more time to recover. Oof. Yeah, losing another expansion. Another base goes down. Oh no, throws away Colossus. Miscontrol out of MaxPax. Yeah, a bit of a misrally. We're getting messy, baby. Getting messy. Oh, and Clem's final form. We have the Fusion Core for Liberator Range. Liberator Range is on the horizon. I mean, we haven't really incorporated too many Liberators, but is working towards it. As Clem, he once again breaks out. He should get another expansion. Does recall in time, but I mean, does recall, but doesn't save the base. Nexus goes down once again. MaxPax out of position, losing another Colossus. Denies the warp in. Oh my god, the EMPs are brutal. Yeah, massive EMPs. MaxPax once again just getting pulled apart, losing more Colossi. And he's gonna lose everything. Lose the entire army. 3 Colossus goes down. GG gets called, and Clem takes a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Initially, MaxPax did have the better early game. I will say that. Like, MaxPax was looking pretty good early on. Able to shut down the aggression of Clem, but we spoke about it, right? It's like all the momentum shifted once Clem got his 4th base, once the 4th base got up and running. And if you remember, how did the 4th base get up and running? When Clem snuck out with 2 medevacs. He was able to sneak out with 2 medevacs, get a base, get a mineral line. That was the moment where, if you remember, MaxPax had to turn his entire army back around. He relinquished map control, and that allowed Clem to establish his 4th. And once that 4th got up, like, all that momentum was taken away from MaxPax. Winding it back, kind of explaining that, we did mention it during the game itself, but this style that MaxPax was going for is very different to how Clem was playing his PvTs. Like, what was Clem doing? Clem, he was building up a more gas-intensive army, a more robo-centric composition with mass robo into mass Colossus into mass Disruptor. Like, again, like a more tech-heavy composition. Here, MaxPax is going for a cheaper army, going for mass expansions, going for a low gas count into a very heavy gateway composition, which can work wonders if you can deny your opponent's bases. But if you fail to deny the 4th base, if you fail to deny the 5th base, then you get outscaled, right? You get outscaled from the Terran player, you get outscaled by your opponent. They build up a more effective, a more efficient army, and then you just lose ground over time. Again, the whole purpose of this style that MaxPax was going for was to deny the bases, and he wasn't able to. GG. GG, well played. And again, a lot of that comes down to the drop play. We mentioned the 1 drop, but there were multiple drops. Like, it was really impressive to see Clem be as active as he was. He had so many medevacs to get across the map, and whenever he did, he would kill bases. Like, he wouldn't just kill mineral lines, but he killed so many Nexi throughout the course of that game, thanks to double drops, right? Double drops, they just kept moving out, kept killing bases, and MaxPax just had a really hard time keeping up with the drops and successfully just containing the Terran. GG. GG, well played. So very impressive drop play there by Clem. With that leads us into game number 3, leads us into potentially the final game of the series. I'm hoping for a back and forth here. We want to see a game 4, a game 5, but MaxPax, he is up against the wall here. One more loss, and that will be the end of the series and the end of the broadcast. Let's go. Up next, we're loading into Tourmaline. Loading into Tourmaline. Oh boy. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid, leading the series 2-0 and 1 game away from claiming the series. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Danish Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. Here we go. Because we are getting into our 3rd game of the series, and again, the pressure is on MaxPax. No more missteps, no more mistakes. We gotta lock in, Pat. Gotta lock in. Now, every game of the series, we have seen Clem attempt to eBay block and fail to really pull that off. This time, we can see MaxPax scouting the low ground, ensuring that there is no SCV. This time, Clem stays at home. Single gas, economic opener. Now, welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline is a much smaller map of the map pool. There's a very high chance that Clem is going to all-in. Very high chance. All-ins are favored. Aggression does hit harder, does hit different on Tourmaline. Does hit different. So we're expecting a safe build out of MaxPax. We're expecting a safe build, or we're expecting to see some counter aggression instead. So remember, last game we had 2-gate blink into a third base out of MaxPax. He had a very greedy build. This time we expect either 3-gate blink or even 4-gate blink stalker, which MaxPax still does incorporate from time to time. Still does like to mix it into a series. As MaxPax does force a little bit of inefficiencies here at a Clem, pulling out one of the SCVs. Otherwise, Clem does go Marine first. No Reaper, no SCV Scouts, no Vision.
Command center upgrade complete.
So again, Clem is not really concerned with what MaxPax is up to. He's checking for proxies, checking for a gateway location here. There's no proxy gateway. Clem just confirming. As we have our tag of choice, Twilight Council out of MaxPax. Again, no surprises here, but what we're really keeping an eye on is the gateway count, right? Yes, it's going to be Twilight Council in the blink, but is it going to be 2-gate blink, 3-gate blink, or 4-gate blink stalker? So eyes are on MaxPax. Dead moves out. Clem is keeping up. Oh, as the CC does complete. And behind this, Clem going to his own 1-1-1. So 1-1-1 follow-up. There's no faster second racks, no faster third racks. I'll be honest, I expected to see a heavier racks count here, but we're not seeing that. Not seeing that. Deb's still poking in. We have the second gateway on the way. Oh no, he's going 2-gate blink. Okay, bold move. I noticed the minimap, I noticed the probe in location here. So, okay, MaxPax 2-gate blink into a third base. This is the same build that he went for last game, but the difference is that the Old Republic is a much larger map, a longer rush distance. You can get away with greedier builds. Here, this is very risky. Very risky here by MaxPax. As the initial depth gets called out. Losing one, losing both. Ooh. Yeah, taking a lot of hits, a lot of damage, and both adepts do get sniped. Tank production has begun, and Clem, he's going for the early move out, early drop. Now remember, Clem has no vision. He doesn't know how safe or how greedy MaxPax is being. So Clem, he has no idea. He's about to find out. And it's going to be on Clem to punish MaxPax. Yeah, the third base is almost done. Now Clem is aware. So he's a little bit indecisive. He knows they cannot really force a cancel here, not with a single drop. But he also knows that economically, he will fall behind. So again, this was a risky move out of MaxPax, and so far it's paying off. As Clem races back home. Building up into a second tank. Getting into his bio, and for the most part, MaxPax, he should be able to take advantage of this third base. He's going to be able to freely just mine from his third, get an economic lead. Clem back at home, we'll see. Oh, actually, never mind. I assumed he was going to wait for Stim. Stim is on the way, it just started, and I assumed he was going to wait for it before the push, but no, he gets spotted. Yeah, he gets spotted by his move. I get spotted. It's on MaxPax to ensure he's aware of whether or not Clem stays at home. He's moving out. He wants to engage with the army ahead of time. As it looks like Clem, for the most part, is staying back. He tries to sneak out on the right hand side. The Raven gets spotted. They spot each other. The Raven. Yeah, Raven should be sniped here. But you can see the Raven does drag the army completely to the left hand side of the map. And here comes Clem. Clem, he's trying to get within range of the third. MaxPax is out of position. He's racing over. The Raven was a distraction. And tanks are getting within range. Yeah, they get within range. They will siege up. He's going for the dive. Yeah, Stalkers, they have arrived. Massive tank shots. Yeah, tank blows are going off, and the Stalkers are zoned away. Can Clem kill the base? If he can, I mean, he can just take a massive lead. The base is getting low. The boys are being pulled. He will focus out the Nexus. The Nexus does fall. And what's this worth? He punishes the Stalkers. Every Stalker goes down. Massive pickoffs. Ay, ay, ay. Clem trading well here, getting 10 probes and the Nexus. Ay, ay, ay. Massive losses from MaxPax, and he is punished for his greed. Remember, MaxPax was being greedy. MaxPax, he was cutting corners by going 2-gate blink into a third base, and MaxPax is punished. Shout out to the MVP, by the way. Who was the MVP? The Raven. The hero Raven gave his life for the cause, baby. The Raven dragged MaxPax completely out of position, buying as much time as possible, allowing Clem to get within range. And I mean, that was it. Third base goes down. MaxPax, the pressure's on. Oof. Dodges both mines. Nice dodges. Yeah, the hero Raven back. Clem moves out with the Widow Mines. At the same time, MaxPax moving in with his own War Prism. Headed towards the main. Drops him moving in. Drops move in. Zelts into the main base. At the same time, Widow Mines. Oh my god. Does split towards the end. Very clutch, very close. If we had retargeted there, that would have been critical damage. But last second splits out of MaxPax. The Prism just does drag the army back home. Army pulls back to defend. And MaxPax is trying to recover. Retaking his third, but the economy has been stifled. The army production as well. That's why Clem has a supply lead. I say that Clem, I would say, is even ahead economically as he's about to take his third. Oh, Prism gets caught. Prism gets caught out. No backstab. MaxPax checking for the third base. It's not being taken. And by this point, MaxPax, he should already have a fourth. Like, there should already be a fourth in production. Shows how much MaxPax has lost. And now here comes Clem. Okay, momentum is on his side. And this, yeah, this fourth base is not going to get up. No shot. Oh, actually, it might. Colossus somewhat in position. Ah, no shot. Oh no, the Colossus has to get the hell out of here. Okay, second Colossus has arrived, but the fourth base goes down. Massive pickoff. Clem does maintain his economic lead. As Clem even catching out Stalkers as well, and MaxPax is falling apart. Oof. It feels like MaxPax is all in here. Does he have a... No Prism. Yeah, no War Prism. You can see MaxPax, he's just F2ing. He's just F2ing everything across the map. Like, he knows how far behind he is. Does catch 2 Marauders, okay. Does catch a couple Marauders. The Prism has not begun. I'm curious if he thought he had a Prism, but it's now on the way. Does need it for reinforcements. He rotates, sorry, Max actually rotates over. Clem is keeping up with the rotation. Doesn't waste the mine shot. Zealot run by at the third. Zealot say do step in. Oof. Brutal mine connection. And Max actually, he's committed, he's gonna go for it. Yeah, he's gotta go. Does he have enough? He has 3 Colossus. Vikings, they go to town. Yeah, there's just so much bio here. The first Colossus goes down, he gets 1. He gets 2. And he'll get all 3. He's going to get all 3 Colossi. Then he can stim, he can chase. Again, Max actually was pretty committed there. Like, he was borderline all in with that push. He just spent everything on that. Still no fourth. just now finishing. Still down in workers, still down in economy. MaxPax, that is. Oh god. Clem, he was going for his own double drop and he runs into the drop of MaxPax. Alright, does find some damage here. Threatens a dive. MaxPax going for his 5th base. Again, this is a little bit desperate from MaxPax. He's trying to mass expand, but he doesn't really have secure map control. Prison back into the natural. Clem is already getting his 4th. Oof. Now, the scary thing here is the base layout. This center 4th base, pushing into the center base of MaxPax is going to be very easy. Like, this is going to be a very accessible base for Clem to push into. And MaxPax has to do everything he can to keep Clem at home. The problem here, we spoke about this at the start of the game. The map is tiny. Like, we're on the same screen. Like, the center bases. We're on the same screen. The strength of Protoss in the mid to late game in this matchup here is to gain map control and to contain the Terran, but MaxPax, he cannot. Clem cannot be contained. Clem moves out. Zealots are out of position. We spoke about it earlier, but this base is so accessible for Clem. I'll spot it. You can see that Clem, he's trying to figure out where the Colossus are. He's like, where is your army? Anyway, as the Colossus, they have arrived. You have Zealots ready for a run by. Clem, he doesn't commit. He's going to wait to max out. So very mature decision. Clem, he's just walling up. He's throwing down sensor towers all over the place. He's going to be the first to max. Fusion cores on the way for Liberator range. Ghosts are building up. +1 air attack. And again, Clem has been very comfortable this game ever since he killed the 3rd. Like, killing that 3rd base, that was a game-winning move for Clem. And MaxPax is yet to recover from that. He's yet to recover. He does have a 4th Colossus on the way. Nice EMP on the Colossus. Jesus. First Colossus goes down. One more volley. Gets a 2nd. Zealots, they do come in from behind. They're trying to lock down the bio. But the kiting here is solid. Another EMP on the charge lots. The Viking count was reset. True. Down to 1 Viking. But again, MaxPax is lacking support. Clem, he's maxed out. He's stimming on forward. He can stim and he can win. You have the attempted run by, the attempted counterattack. That does distract Clem. Yeah, at least for a moment. And the problem here is that MaxPax, he's fighting for his life. He's fighting for the center base and he just cannot maintain it. Not on this map. Not on Tourmaline. No shot. Then once again moves in. Ooh, snipes the first Colossus. Down to 1. And soon to be down to 0 here. Nice kiting with the Vikings. GG gets called as MaxPax has nothing left. And Clem will take the series 3-0, becoming this week's PiGosaur Cup. Well, actually, the final champion of PiGosaur Cup in 2025. GG. GG, well played. A very dominant performance here by Clem. Again, MaxPax had a very cheeky build here this game. Remember, winding it all the way back to the beginning of Tourmaline, to the beginning of Game 3, MaxPax, he went 2-gate blink. He went 2-gate blink into a very fast 3rd base. A very, very greedy build, by the way. That was a 3rd base before the robo. Hyper greed out of MaxPax. And Clem, when he scouted it, he actually pulled back. He pulled back, he built up his tank push, he built up his move out, and we saw that MaxPax was keeping up with the initial movements of Clem, until the Raven. If you remember, the Raven did peel off towards the left hand side. The observer spotted the Raven. MaxPax, he just tunnel visioned on that Raven. He sent every stalker to snipe the Raven, and he did snipe it, which is a nice pickoff. But because he sent everything to attack the Raven, he was pulled completely out of position. That left an opening. Clem, he just ran it down mid, ran straight to the third base, picked up his tanks, boosted in, and he killed the third. He killed the third base, and he killed 9 probes, and he killed all the stalkers as well. He had a crazy fight there at the third, and that did essentially set him up for success. I don't want to say that won him the game, but it put him in a winning position. It gave Clem a massive advantage, just because the entire point of the build of MaxPax was to get ahead economically, and he lost that economic lead. So he had no economy, he had no tech, he had no production. Like he lost any kind of advantage that he was meant to have in this game by losing that third. So once he lost the third base, it was kind of smooth sailings from there. We saw that MaxPax, he was forced into an all-in. If you recall, he was forced to commit with his Charged Colossus, but he just could not keep up with the superior economy of Clem. Clem, once he took his third base, he could get his fourth, his fifth base. Like, he just snowballed from there. And a big part of that is the map as well, right? It's like, because the map is so small, you have very little breathing room as a Protoss player to stabilize and to slow the game down. That is their strength, right? In a longer game, you're able to mass expand, gain map control, and contain the Terran. It is difficult to do that on these smaller maps, like Tourmaline, like Ruby Rock, just because counterattacks are so much faster and they hit so much harder as well. GG, well played with that. Congratulations to Clem, as it does claim the series 3-0. Again, a very impressive showing here by Clem. Shout out to MaxPax, as he was able to hold his own in this series, but there were just a couple of key moments here where Clem was able to get the better of MaxPax, both in game 1, game 2, and in game 3. GG, well played. And again, it was really cool to see the difference between MaxPax's Protoss and Clem's Protoss as well. They both clearly have very different approaches, very different styles. But GG, well played. With that, congratulations to Clem. And again, this was the final PiGosaur Cup of 2025. Again, we are going to be going on a hiatus for this event until 2026. So there is going to be a brief hiatus here for the PiGosaur Cup. Do not worry though, do not fret. The Tuna Cups will continue. That is our Open Cups alongside the Wardy TV Mondays. And I'm a little bit uncertain as to the Monday Night Weeklies, but they may also be continuing as well. I do know that some tournaments are going to be going on a break for the holidays, for Christmas, and for New Year's, which is understandable. Speaking of, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everyone in the chat. Again, we have 1 hour left. We have 52 minutes left for Christmas before Boxing Day here in Australia, so we're about to wrap up with Christmas. But I hope you all had a great day. Hope you all have a great holidays as well. Hope you enjoy yourselves, and hey, at least you're able to enjoy some StarCraft alongside it as well, with the festivities, with the holidays. Take care, everyone. Take care. Enjoy yourselves, whether you're spending your time with your families, whether you're taking time for yourself. Hope you have a great holiday. Have a great day, great weekend, great end of year, and beginning of 2026 as well. Crazy, baby, crazy. When it comes to the rest of our schedule, I do apologize. We did take a couple of days off. As you can see here on our brackets, on our calendar, we did take Tuesday and Wednesday off. That was the 23rd and 24th of December. So it took 2 days off, but we just came back on Thursday with PiGosaur Cup. We're going to be back tomorrow with the Rake versus Hackers Top show match, a best of 7 SC Evo show match. We have StarCraft Evolution League Saturday as well. I might have to reschedule, by the way, just because of the times of these events, so we're probably gonna have to move some stuff around, but yes, we're gonna be live with SEL tomorrow, and we have the Tuna Cup on Sunday. That is the December finals for Sparkling Tuna Cup. So again, we have a Casa Day moving forward, coming into January. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. Again, we did take a couple of days off here earlier in the week just to spend time with our families, just for the holidays. But now we're back in the full swing of things here with all the casting, with all the StarCraft. And again, SC Evo right around the corner as well. When it comes to next week's schedule, we will be having New Year's Day off and New Year's Eve. So just a heads up that New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, we will be having off. So no casting, no content here on the channel, on the CranKy Ducklings. But we should be live elsewhere. For example, if you want to tune into more of my own content, !light. !light in the chat. I do stream on my personal channel every now and then, and I should be streaming. I may even stream later today. Tempted. I'm a little bit tired. I'm gonna get some food. I'm gonna look after the bunnies. I might stream some ladder after this. like in like half an hour or something, maybe an hour's time. So keep an eye out. I might stream on my personal channel. I do not stream here on the CranKy Ducklings. Here on the CranKy Ducklings, this is a team channel, and we do keep this for casting purposes, right? We cast on the CranKy Ducklings. We have the podcast, for example, our talk shows, and we have some team content here as well. But if you're interested in my personal streams, like laddering or playing some other games like Final Fantasy, or what other game tickles my fancy, I do stream on my personal channel instead, so that's separate. We try to keep it separate here. It has its pros, it has its cons. But if you're interested, again, I've been live pretty consistently over the past week. We've had just a little bit more time to stream, and I might go live later on tonight after we get some food and after we spend our time with the bunnies. We'll see. I'm a little bit on the fence just because it's been a very exhausting day. Sad. We'll see. But if I go live, I'll be on my personal channel. Otherwise, if you want to follow us and support us on the CranKy Ducklings, ! Socials in the chat, you can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings. We do stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And if you see something that you like here, and if you cannot watch it live, check out the VODs over on YouTube. We do upload to YouTube on a daily basis, so plenty of content, plenty of VODs over on YouTube. Check it out. Do consider checking it out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll be heading off. If you are unsatiated, if you want some more StarCraft, I believe Wardy is still Wardy. He just went live. He is hosting, I think he has a Christmas tournament. He does have like an impromptu Christmas event that he is running. So Wardy, he does have a tournament at the moment. What else is going on? Strange is live. Bratok is live. Rex is casting. Is anyone else live? Anyone that I recognize? I don't see anyone. Of course, a shout out to Trigger. Trigger, he gave us a raid earlier. Trigger, who was also streaming. But yeah, give some love to Wardy. As we're going to be heading off here for the evening. And again, happy holidays. Take care. Also, very quickly, if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon, !Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon is designed to fund our tournaments. It does fund our events. It does fund Tunic Cup, Sea Duckling Open, and Master Swan Open as well. It is all funded via the Patreon, so you can support us there if you wish. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for a best of 7 StarCraft Evolution show match. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Ciao, papi, ciao. See you next time. Hasta luego.